bank that helps businesses make it happen.
Don't you know that this is the
Welcome back to Subiaco Oval. As we said, just a terrific day. Rather disappointing crowd, you've got to say, given the weather. Craig Bradley just won the toss, and we've got the Carlton Blues kicking down towards the eastern end of the ground, the city end, and they will be favoured, I think, by a gentle breeze, but it's a swirling breeze at the present time looking at the flags. Adrian Barrage is down on the boundary, and maybe, Barry, you can tell us more.
Thanks, Dan. Yes, magnificent days, you've said. Maybe a touch hot for the Blues. But the big news down here, there's two pieces of it. Matthew Lappin is out of the Carlton side at the last moment. He flew to Perth, caught a bug last night, has been sick all night and won't be playing. He's been replaced by Ben Nelson. But probably the biggest news, if you're Stephen Silvani is pumped up in this first quarter, he has reason to be. 2 a.m. last night, or this morning, his wife Jo gave birth to a baby boy by the name of Ben. They're both healthy. He then caught a plane to Perth and arrived at about 11:30 this morning and raced to the ground. They decided just at that time that they would let him play, that he's a senior player, that he'd be able to do it. So you expect him to be pretty pumped up early. Congratulations to Joe and Stephen. And I think a big day for the Carlton Footy Club. The Dockers are going to run Stephen Silvani around a bit early, see what happens. But I reckon we're set for a great game, Den. Back to you for the call.
Thanks, Adrian. Maybe the first of many sleepless nights for Stephen Silvani. There he is. No handshake from Matthew Pavlich. Other things on his mind. The umpires today, Goldspink, Schmidt and McInerney. And we're set to go. Sunday football from Subiaco Oval. So much to play for. The Dockers with a real chance to push on here. Minus their first two in the club best and fairest last season. Adrian Fletcher and Tony Modra. These two sides met twice last year. Carlton won both in round 4 and round 19. 29 points and 69 points respectively. And there's the opening bounce. Allen and Michael. Pivotal duel knocked down by Allen. Freeborn went to ground. Spills wide to Walker. A little chip kick towards half forward. McKay's on the road. Swings it towards the outer side. Bradley in space out there. Allen is running hard further up the field. Bradley thought about giving him the ball. Opted not to. Bounces around the boundary line. Kicks inside the 50. Bandy needed to stretch. It bounces off Bavola. Outside the 50. Freeborn back to Bradley. Bradley's hand pass wide of the mark. Dodd got a hand to it. Picked up by Brown. Brown boots it back towards the outer side. Kutafides on the road. 60 metres out. Pops it up towards the top of the square. Favola over the top. Bandy. Brown. Parker. Pretty slick. They battle after it. Favola over it now. Going nowhere. In there is Jones with plenty of company. McManus decides to grab somebody and holds it up.
And have already been put under intense pressure by the Carlton players. You can just see the Carlton players seeping off and trying to set up a wall with Kutafides and Allen just across the half-back line, trying to keep that ball inside their 50-metre area.
Bounce about 20 metres out, then Michael goes up and slaps it down. Hazelby in trouble. Ratton knocks it out. Camporelli tackled by Jones. Taken down. Umpire wants it again. That's umpire Shane McInerney.
Scotty Camporelli, he's a dangerous player inside the 50-metre area. He's in there 13 times last week, so he certainly gets in amongst that forward line area.
Rucks go at it. Otten knocked it down. Taken by Hazelby. A quick kick away. Toya bounces off his chest. Taken by Hume. Oh, Kutafides straddling a player was tripped, and he'll get the free. Very athletic, Anthony Kutafides. Got the ball forward of the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnall's the target. Bandy knocked it away. Walker's over the ball. Whistle just outside the 50. Welcome to Subiaco Oval. Stations around Australia joining us now for Sunday football, the second leg of our doubleheader. And we've got the Dockers against the Blues. No scorers yet. Opening seconds of the game. This is Freeborn right on the 50. could have a score here. He tugs it to the right or behind. Fitness committee along with Chris Mainwaring. Craig Bradley won the toss. The breeze really not a factor, maybe just favouring the Blues slightly. And they're kicking right to left. Matthew Lappin out of the Blues team with a virus. Nelson comes in. This is McManus. Keeping his own defensive area. Squares the ball towards the pocket. Kick it. Looking for Toya. Plenty of room. He's at centre half back. Luke Toya. Dodd is on for the short one. He's got it now. Plays on by hand. Cook, who's been in splendid form, decides to have a bounce. Awkward one. Closing Camporelli. Cook got the kick off. First time inside their 50. Cooks was up, almost a spectacular mark. Carlton will bring it away. The hand pass, though, chopped off by Brown. Here's a chance for Pavlich. Put under pressure by Silvani. It wanders down towards the pocket. Coops trying to keep it in. Rice is there, and it goes out of bounds. So a boundary throw in. Carlton by a point.
It's just the key, some of the key matchups. Toya's gone on to Ratton. Troy Cook's actually got the big job with Koutafidis, and Brad Dodd is picking up Scott Camporelli.
Boundary throw in. You see Ange Christou back deep in defence there. Hooked down behind by Michael. Dodd going to ground. Swings it onto the boot. It wanders down towards the pocket. Toya goes back and takes a clever mark.
Speaking of clever, it was a great play by Clem Michael there. When you're going for the ruck in the forward line, the best place or dangerous place to be hitting it is right in behind him. That's where Michael put the ball. And it was a quick kick out by Dodd that found Toya on his own. We've really got to man up in those situations and have a player always sitting in behind a ruck tap. And speaking of Brad Dodd, there he is, and he's going to line up now for the Dockers' first real shot on goal.
It's about 35 metres out. Stumbling kick last time. Found a teammate. Now can follow up with a goal. No, slides it across the face. Coops in front. Couldn't complete the mark. Crashing in down there, Franchino applies a tackle immediately. We're seeing a bounce.
Just while that's going on, a couple of the Fremantle players are just changing over on their man. Parker's come up to pick up a Hamill, and Brown's gone back on Favola. Interesting to see if Favola continues on with his kicking yips at the moment.
Allen props in front. Does it nicely, knocks it down towards the pocket. Dodd's got it, squeezes a kick out and narrowly misses. So he's getting plenty of the ball to start this game. Camporelli and Dodd jousting a little. There's the bench for the Dockers. Tom Regan in the foreground. The all-time greats of WA footy. The ball's kicked in towards the outer side. Koutafidis, a little push there. Yeah. He's got the ball at right half back. He chips it up towards the wing. Kick goes back with great courage. Taken by Michael. Gets it across to McManus. He's in space. Kicks it towards the centre circle. Toya. Breaking for him is Walker. Walker's got it now. He's pushing up the ground, Walker. He can run to inside the 50 if he wants. Has a bounce. Camporelli getting across. Affected the kick. It was a poor one. Now an opportunity for Hume. Silvani dragged down. Pavlich in trouble. Lays it off. Ship into an open goal. What's he done? Unbelievable. Out of bounds on the full. He tried to construct something especially made for television there. How did he drop that footy? I don't think he was aware of where the goals were. He's looking over there.
I think he's trying to do a bit of a banana kick.
Wow.
Whatever he was doing, it didn't work.
He slipped on a banana peel, as it turned out. The ball on the outer side. Hamill takes the mark on his chest. Aaron Hamill, feisty customer. Good player. 13 goals for the season. Won't get one here. Kicks it down towards half forward. Knocked away by Bandy. McManus busy early. The hand pass untidy. Hazelby. Freeborn was in the road. Camporelli, clever hand pass. McKay having a wonderful season. Kicks it inside the 50. Whitnell on his chest. The big man, Lance Whitnell, will line up from about 45. 22 goals for the season. That's the best of the Blues. 55 last year, 46 in 98.
Daniel Bandy will have his hands full with Whitnell today. He's a very good runner, Daniel Bandy, but which is good because Whitnell does lead up the ground a lot. Leads the league in marks this year. He's on shot on goal. Take time to have a look at this.
He's directly over his right shoulder, I would have suggested, but that didn't help him or hinder him. It was a terrible effort. Just sneaking in for a behind. Quality young player, though.
And before the game, only 2 Carlton players actually came out to a lot of sides do a bit of a pre-warm-up. And Whitnell and Favola both came out and were just having some shots on goal with Greg Williams.
Parker to the pocket. Here's Walker. Walker kicking it up towards the wing. This will be interesting. Hamill with the judgment, finds it on the ground. Heard the voice. Camporelli's got it now. Arches the back, did not get away. Longmire slung him and the ball's gone out of bounds. Camporelli pleads his case to umpire Goldspink, thinking the sling was a little bit late.
Then the Blues bench is Hickmont, Mansfield, Nelson, who's replaced the Matthew Lappin, who got crook last night, and Simon Fletcher.
Off hands now. Chain of hand passes. Freeborn got it to Koutoufides. Franchina. Hume. Well inside the 50. Hume goes Goldwood. Good looking effort. Narrowly missed.
Well, they just kept moving forward there, the Carlton players, and just some very quick hands by them. They actually lead the league in handballs received, so they certainly have plenty of runners all over the ground.
Ratton and Camporelli setting it up initially.
And they obviously hit their targets too.
They're key men. As Parker comes to Walker. Walker, a looping hand pass away. This is Dodd, right half back, driving it up towards the wing. Whitnell in best position. McKay calls him out and stands tall, takes a good grab. Andrew McKay across the ground, pinpointing it well alongside the centre circle. Franchina, Waterhouse bearing down. Franchina gets the kickoff unaffected. Clears Parker and Favola and runs out of bounds in the right full forward pocket. The early going and Carlton lead by 2 points.
Maney, it's quite amazing what the Dockers are doing with Koutoufides. They seem to be playing off him, just letting him do his own thing, and Troy Cook's doing his. Yeah, well, look, Toy's come back onto him now, Adrian, so I'll have a look at that.
McManus over the ball, needs to get it out. Hamill going nowhere. Brown's got him from behind. Michael camped in front. The bounce in the pocket.
I mean, if Luke Toy's picking up Anthony Koutoufides, he's certainly going to get dominated in the air.
Umpires today. Umpire McInerney puts it down. Now a whistle and a free kick, and it's going to Allen.
Just with a push out there in their ruck. And he went for that. We might see a replay, Dennis, and you just see Michael interferes, just pushes into Allen there. Oh, reasonably soft.
Good spot for a left footer too. The cross breeze, and the angle opened up here. So Allen, fine player, likes it off the boot. It's a wonderful kick. It's a goal.
Well, there's not much you can do about that in terms of trying to stop the goal from a free kick situation. But what Fremantle can do at the moment is what Adrian sort of said. They are just playing off some of the key playmakers for Carlton at the moment. And we know in this year, Carlton have already had 3 times where they've had 400 odd possessions, the 3 highest going around. So their key playmakers get a lot of the ball. And this is going to require a lot of mental preparation by the Dockers today to stick very close to these Carlton midfielders.
Carlton inside the centre square, going with Allen, Bradley, Freeborn, and Koutoufides. Toyer alongside him. Michael, Cook, and Hazelby. The other 3 players in there for Fremantle. Hazelby got it from Toyer. Crashing to the ground was Hamill. Coming away with the football, McManus kicks inside the 50. Intended for Coots. It runs on down towards the pocket. Beaumont played it pretty well. Now he's got a problem. Coots over the top. It's come out the back, Steve. Pushed towards the boundary by Rice. It was a Freeborn. It was Rice. And it will be tossed in. Plenty of Blues there working hard.
Already early in this game, Dennis, Carlton have been inside their 57. That's Fremantle's only 3rd time inside there, so they need to get it down to their forward line more often.
Allen directed it down at his feet. Black hurriedly out of the congestion. Slides across the face and it bounces out of bounds in the opposite pocket. So boundary throw in. Crowd finding voice. This game's so important for both these clubs. Carlton to push on towards the top echelon, and Fremantle to make some noise, and Michael does exactly that. Took it out of the rough and kicks a goal. No, it was touched. So behind. That'll be interesting to watch again.
Well, I think you'll find a couple of their Fremantle boys still don't realise it's a point, Dennis. They've actually run back. They're congratulating each other. They're just picking it up now.
Well, who touched that? That's a very interesting call. Rice to Franchina. Franchina back to Rice. Rice running up from the back pocket, kicking towards the outside wing there. The mark is taken by Koutoufides. Koutafidis hugs the boundary line with a kick down towards right half forward. Ratton with him as Walker. Comes off Ratton and goes out of bounds.
Some smart coaching then by David Parkin. He's pulled Daniel Bandy back to full back by moving Whitnell to full forward to stop Bandy's run. So, Maney, instead of you seeing Bandy surging up the ground, it won't be happening for a while now.
Allen hooks it down behind this time. Getting a boot to it was Kickett. Black stood up in the tackle. A hand pass back towards midfield. Coming up to mid, it is Houghton hurriedly onto the boot. Kicks it down towards half forward. Handled inside the 50 by Franchina. Hand passes on. Off towards the boundary line by Jones. And out it goes. In fact, it was Christou, I think, crashing through back in the centre square. Putting the ball inside the 50. There's Favola. So boundary throw in. Right full forward for the Blues. He won the toss. Now lead by 7 points. Houghton in from the side. Ratton's hand pass. Hamill. Being pushed in the back there. No free. And the umpire comes across and claims it. McManus slow to get up.
The crowd haven't sort of got too excited with anything that's been going on yet. Game hasn't reached, I know it's only early, hasn't reached any great heights. Both sides just really seem to be testing each other at the moment.
Michael and Allen. This time Michael wins it down. Dodd comes away, slips the hand pass to a man in trouble. That's Cook, stood up in the tackle. Hazelby, claimed by Bradley, got the kick away. Well played. Houghton goes back and takes the mark. Plays on by hand. Awkward one. Christou's got it now. Alongside the centre circle. Long kick down towards full forward. Allen launched himself, found it on the ground, snaps at his second goal, but this time he's way off the mark. Out of bounds on the full.
Michael was very lucky there. It was quite good backing up from Allen. Very quick to get the second possession.
Parker comes away. Awkward one for Brown, who didn't judge it too well. It runs beyond him and out of bounds at left half forward for Carlton. Just under 10 minutes till quarter time. Craig Bradley winning the toss. If there is an advantage, they're running with it. It's a swirling breeze as Whitnell knocks it down brilliantly. Driving the pack is Bradley, 70 metres out, trying to pinpoint the ball to Ratton, who reaches out and takes the mark right on the 50. A couple of weeks back, booted 6 goals. Not like him generally. Goes for home this time, just wide of the mark. And behind.
It was pretty bad play there to really allow Craig Bradley really just to run through from that boundary throw, and he had no resistance on the inside from any of the Fremantle players. And you've got to make sure you get in between. Oh, this is a bad kick in.
Yes, Freeborn getting on the end of Parker's kick. I thought it was a terrific kick in. He'll shoot a goal from about 30 metres out directly in front.
He actually, as a play, you sort of see this sort of happening, Dennis, and you almost sort of read the play, and you actually can't believe how lucky you are that the guys are actually going to kick it and you can cut it off.
His eyes lit up. And there's the punishment. The old 7-point play.
Well, as I was just sort of saying before, the allowing Bradley all that room to sort of come through, and just at the moment, the Fremantle players, I've said it just earlier on, they're just not really manning up on some of the key Carlton players. Bradley, Camporeale, Koutafidis is in there. Ratton's got a bit of the ball. And last week they were just so hard and so fearless in their attack against Collingwood, and they just seem to have taken their foot off the pedal a little bit so far in the early parts of this game.
So the Dockers need to be careful here. They're down by 14 points. Good start by the Blues. They've made a habit of doing that this season. And when they've started well, they've generally won their games. Allen and Michael will go at it again. Good bounce too. Allen camped under the ball, used the leg, got it down in the direction of Freeborn. He couldn't control it. Christou against the flow is dragged down. It spills to Hume. Hume the high up and under down towards half forward. Jones didn't touch it. Houghton leads in the race towards the outer side. Walker got there with speed, trying to crash his way through Koutafidis. In trouble, Jones couldn't thread the eye of a needle there. Back after it goes a Docker and Walker. He's over it. Over him is Koutafidis and Hume, and it's going to be a free kick for Koutafidis just outside the 50, wasting no time, pops it up, intended for Allen. Bandy's in front, got a hand to it, coming through Brown, socket off the ground for Bowler, and it's a goal.
Well, I don't think Damien Drumm will be too happy what he's seeing here at the moment, and Carlton have certainly come to play football. They've jumped out of the blocks and just slightly got the Fremantle boys rattled at the moment. An incident over there a minute ago, I saw three Carlton players with no one on in the head. Ratton, Bradley and Koudafides all going for the ball. The players who were playing on them were all 20 metres behind them. So just very slack manning up so far.
The Blues looking good. They lead it by 20 points. It's not about the breeze, it's about application at the moment. Michael came hard, Freeborn intercepted. Brilliant hand pass, got it away to Hamill. Hamill a probing kick inside the 50. Up was Koudafides, couldn't hang on. At the base of the pack in the opposite direction was Houghton, got it out toward the bowler, tried to soccer off the ground. In goes Walker, gets past Hewen. He's at right half back and he kicks it up towards the wing. McKay going back, good judgment. Finger tipper, plays on immediately, spots Hamill across the ground. That's a beautiful kick. Hamill's got it, Whitnell wants it. Ignores that, comes short to Ratton. Blues everywhere. Ratton directly in front, spots a man. Well, didn't intend it for kick it. It bounced off his chest. Toya's in front, comes back to kick it. He's at left half back in a spot of bother. Bandy, the fumble, taken front on, smothered brilliantly by Franchina after the Ratton tackle. It's going to be a Docker free kick, but they were lucky under enormous pressure there, and Black comes up with a footy. Out wide, this is Toya. Bandy is on up the ground. Bandy's got it, took too long. That affected the kick, he was dragged down. Still got it to a man, though. Pavlich playing in front, the advantage seen there. A centering ball, reaching over the top. Manton, it runs free at the back. Waterhouse, they need a goal, and Klein has snapped it.
And really that goal was set up by the run from Daniel Bandy. We heard Adrian talking about how Carlton have tried to isolate Bandy by putting him with Whitnell at full forward to allow him to stop his run, which has been so dominant over the last few weeks. And there we saw him run down, collecting the ball on the half-forward line. And I've been a bit worried about where the goals are going to come from Fremantle today. He's certainly one man that's got a big job. Clive Waterhouse kicked 4 last week. And they'll be looking for another big performance today from him.
Much needed goal, that one. 3-4 plays 1-2, 7 minutes till quarter time from Subiaco Oval, the second leg of our double-header this afternoon. Sunday footy on this beautiful day. Allen goes up, taps it down. Hazelby crashing in his cook, collected a teammate on the way through. Bradley emerges with a footy. Kickett takes him down. The hand pass goes down towards half forward. Running onto it, Hamill bounces obligingly for Whitnell, who snaps it back. It wanders towards the pocket. Parker goes back, drops the mark, and takes it across the line.
Tell you what's a real worry at the moment, Dennis. I reckon it's the centre clearances by Carlton. They're dominating through the centre there, and they're just giving their forwards just so many chances. And the Fremantle midfield is going to have to tighten up there.
In front, Houghton. Michael did well, came around him. Exposes the goal face with a tap out, but it bounces through for a behind.
Just speaking of the setup with Carlton, what they do is they have one player right on the goal square. They have one player about 5 metres out in front of that, and then another player straight up through the midfield against. They have 3 players basically all in a row, which allows them to buy the take off either side. When the ball's coming out of the centre, they just have 2 or 3 options to go to.
So Kickett has been handed the poison chalice, comes in short and finds Jones. Jones in the back pocket. Great to see him back and playing footy. His 5th game of the season, giving him a grand total of 19 in the past 4 years. Toya across to Walker. Hazelby. Toya, that's better. Cook's got it, in trouble. Bradley running down from behind. Very much a part of their football at the moment. Bradley rewarded. They're chasing hard from behind. Camporelli takes the hand pass. Half volley, awkward one down there for Hamill. Hamill surrounded by 3 Dockers, dragged down, got the kick away. Camporelli over the ball. Jones has got him, took him to ground. Holding the ball is the call.
Well, good pressure from both sides in that situation. We saw Bradley run down the Fremantle play a minute ago, and then we just saw Camporelli tightened up. It's a dangerous kick across goal, but he's found Bandy on his own.
Centimetre perfect. Bandy's got it. Chips it out wide. Longmuir stops it. This is Troy, or rather Justin. A hurried kick bounces through the wing. Brown goes down. Manton backs off the pack, gets the hand pass away. Rather untidy. Houghton's hand pass likewise. Socket away from Christou. Around the outer side comes Waterhouse. Tries to keep it in. It's still in, but he's gone beyond it. Pavlich taken down by Silvani. And a boundary throw it. And what about Stephen Silvani? He's a dad today. Big story.
Damien Drum must be concerned about those centre clearances because Michael's come off and Longmuir's gone on to replace him to take up the challenge with Allen.
So Steve up all night. Got a late plane. Wife Joe and his son. Hazel be in trouble. In Silvani. Socket off the ground out there by McKay up towards the wing. Over the ball is Houghton, played it well. Bradley slickly away. Camporelli working hard, working well from the wing down towards right half forward. Whitnell, great courage. Going back with the flight of it. Marks on the 50. Spots a man loose down towards full forward, or did he? It was an interesting kick. Bavola tries to hack it out of midair. And I think he's missed. He has.
Great pressure from Shane Parker there, Dennis.
Interesting kick from Whitnell.
He really would have thought he would have gone back and lined up in that situation.
Yep. The way he kicked it, it gave the impression there was a loose man in the square. That wasn't the case. Gave it to a contest. Bavola, in effect, was outnumbered. Kick it to the pocket. Walker's got it now. The hand pass sells a man into trouble. Jones stood up in the tackle, came back towards Walker. Ratton slickly away. Bradley from 40 snaps. It's bending. Beautiful goal. Fremantle in trouble.
Just at the moment with Fremantle being under so much pressure, I wonder why they keep going short there, Dennis. And what you basically do when you go short into one of the pockets, you almost declare which way you're going to be bringing the ball out, which allows, you know, the opposition side then to have all its players get dragged across over to that side of the ground. And just especially at the moment with the turnovers, they've already had 7 turnovers, the Fremantle Dockers, and they just really need to go long and, you know, get it out of their 50-metre area.
Just over 4 minutes till quarter time. 4-6 plays 1-2. Carlton on top. And the midfielders getting very busy. Longmuir goes up. Hazelby had it then lost it. Fletcher's hand pass charged down by a teammate. Allen comes back towards Fletcher. Could have almost been pushed in the back there. Ball up alongside the centre circle. Craig Bradley 7 possessions. Kutafidis has had 6. Ratton 5. And they've used them well. Longmuir knocks it down. Bradley helps the ball on his way. Over at Kick it on the wing, emerges with the footy. Getting someone to move for him. He kicks it back towards centre half forward. Manton spotted the danger, came up, gave a contest. McManus charges in. Manton butters up again. Hazelby in trouble. Dodd hurriedly gets it to Cook. That's better. McManus can go to Waterhouse. Waterhouse can kick his, and the Dockers second, and he has.
Well, they're keeping in touch at the moment, the Dockers, but they're certainly making it pretty hard work. The kick originally from, what was Kickett or it was Cook's handball out there to McManus. I apologise there, but they're just really struggling at the moment to match the forays at Carlton. They just seem to be doing it a lot easier. And Brad Bootsman's now come on to add a bit of aggression.
So Clive Waterhouse has 19 goals for the season. His best effort against Carlton, 4 in round 4 last year. Off to the quick start here. He's got 2. The Dockers have 2, but they trail by 16 points. Longmuir and Allen. One down by Allen. The umpire wants it again.
They've just got to tighten up in the middle there, Maney. I think Hamill comes into the middle, interchanging with Kuda. It's a fair changeover, and they just seem to let him run free.
Allen directs it down, but straight to Black. The hurried kick floats towards half-forward Camporelli. Takes the mark on his chest. Coming up for his 6th possession. He's got plenty of toe. Having a fine season towards Bradley in a contest there. Runs free at the back. Bradley's going to get a free kick. Advantage is paid. Ratton's away. Ratton right half forward pulls it back towards Favola, who was pushed in the back. Runs free behind once more. That was well done by Toya. He turned his man, Christou, but the mark not paid. It came off the fingertips there of Whitnell and went against the post. So a boundary throw in. There seemed to be a push in the back on Favola as the high ball was coming in. The umpire didn't spot it. Most of this crowd not complaining. Whitnell to no one in particular. Hamill looking for a free kick. Could have been holding the ball. A bit lucky there.
See Brad Bootsman's come onto the ground. He's already laid 2 tackles already, and he's hails from South Fremantle. Very tough customer is Brad Bootsma. 27 years of old, a very old draftee, but certainly adds a lot of aggression to this Fremantle side.
There's the bounce. Allen hooks it down behind Whitnell. Smothered off the boot. Ricochets back to Ratton. The hurried kick finds a man. Again, the advantage of playing in front. Hume not there for the kick. More the spoil in the square. Just camped in front of the bigger fellows behind him. No harm done as far as the Blues are concerned. The hurried kick came out. He latched onto it. Interesting just moments ago. Aaron Hamill going into a pack as we watch that replay again. There he is. Johnny on the spot. Or in this case, Darren on the spot. What can he do? Easy enough. They get their 5th.
It just seems to be a common denominator amongst all the Fremantle players at the moment. We keep touching on it, but they're just playing partly off. And as Dennis, you just pointed out a minute ago, really just doing the right thing there as a forward playing in front. Probably didn't really expect to get the free kick, but of course, if you're doing all the right things, eventually things will turn out to your benefit. And that's what happened to young Hume there. And it's a very open forward line for the Carlton players at the moment. 3 players on half forward, 2 at full forward.
That goal pretty important in the context of this first term. The margin now 22 points. Longmuir directs it down. Fletcher got a hand pass out, chopping it off Cook. Interesting handball. Hazelby crashes in. Eventually a chance for Longmuir. Throws it on the boot, kicks inside the 50, and the mark is taken by Coops. A bit like the goal at the other end, just being in the right spot for the errant kick. And Coops will kick it goal from about 35 metres out.
Also shows the difference of getting it out of the centre. Carlton have really had the wood over Fremantle on that part of the game so far today, but there we saw how quickly if you get it out of the centre, it just gives people like Coops and Waterhouse an opportunity to get out in front and try and get another one on the board.
Important kick this one then. Stephen Coops has kicked a goal. In fairness to the defender Beaumont, the defender generally has to play the middle, and that kick squirting towards the flank always put Coops in best position. It came quickly as well, so Beaumont couldn't get a play on it.
Such good work by Longmuir there just to get the ball out, but just good bullocking work again from 2 of their prime midfielders in Cook and Hazelby. Big responsibility for those 2 players without Fletcher in there to help them.
So the margin 16 points, 11 scoring shots to Carlton, probably on balance. And we saw those figures inside 50. They should be further in front. Fremantle probably will get a quarter time if the Blues don't get another goal here. Feeling reasonably happy with the situation, but of course Koutafidis could make things change as he hand passes out wide. Fletcher runs onto the ball, kicks inside the 50. Whitnell out of position. Loose ball, a chance for Favola deep in the pocket. He likes the soccer kick. And that one didn't miss by much. Against the Tigers a couple of weeks back, tried something spectacular. It was a scissors kick in mid-air, back over his head on an angle. It didn't go through, but it'll be hard to practice at training. Margin 17 points. Parker kicks off. A round of applause for getting some distance on it. Longmuir takes the mark. And people say that's how it worked back in the 70s and the 80s and the 50s and the 40s. McManus soccers up the ground, kicks it up towards the wing. In front is Toyer. Getting back is Whitnell. Whitnell taking a full revolution on the siren. Entertaining opening to this one. And Carlton lead it by 17 points. They'll be very happy with their start, I think, in as much as they wanted to start quickly. And Fremantle would have reason to be happy as well, because Carlton could have almost shut the door in that opening term. 5-7-3-2. Just checking the goal scorers for the Blues. Freeborn, Bradley, Allen, Favola and Hume. And for Fremantle, Clive has booted a couple. Waterhouse and Coops has the other goal. Damien Drum played his first game against Carlton. Not coached, but played his first game against the Blues. Big task here.
Don't know the reason why you love me this way. Don't know the reason why you're there every day. are the reason I am here.
This is home to one of my greatest memories.
Share with Tony Shaw the memories of Collingwood's first premiership in 32 years with your very own framed replica 1990 premiership jumper personally signed by the inspirational skipper himself. Beautifully presented and framed, numbers are limited to 250 at the low price of $750. Order now. Call 1-800-687-842. That's 1-800-687-842 for this official AFL merchandise.
So now you can have this memory at home with you.
In a row, 9 victory of Australia.
It doesn't get any better than this. It's just as special as the first time.
Well, at the MCG this afternoon, Essendon looking to remain undefeated, make it 9 out of 9. They're playing Melbourne. Interesting game, but the Bombers just starting to creep away now. The margin 69-49 in the third term. In fact, it's three-quarter time, I'm told. So 10-9 plays 6-13. Two struggling teams doing battle at the SCG this afternoon. It's Sydney have lost their last 5 at the SCG. They really are in terrible form, and they're playing Port Adelaide. If you don't want to know the score, this will be replayed later, so look away now. Down to the boundary, here's Adrian Barrage with John Worsfold, a familiar face.
Thanks, Dan. Yes, welcome back to Subi. Whoosh, big decision to play Steve Silvani today after the birth of his child, 2 a.m. yesterday morning, and a flight to Perth.
Yeah, we left it up to Stephen. You know, he's professional, and we left it his call whether he thought he was right to play, and we've wrapped his ear.
Okay, tell us about the breeze out here. It looks a bit fluky. You know a bit about Subi. What do you think?
Yeah, the players did say it's fairly swirly. You know, one stage it's blowing behind them, another time it's coming in their face. But, you know, we've missed a few opportunities, and whether it was the breeze or just poor finishing, I don't know.
Good on you, Whoosh. Good to see you again. All the best.
Thanks, mate.
Only once in their history of the Dockers won 3 in a row. The last game in 96 and the first 2 in 97. Looking to do it in the one season and for the first time under Damien Drum this afternoon. At the present time, they trail by 17 points. Rucks go at it. Longmuir hooked it down behind. Cook, as he always does, crashes in hard, looking to find the footy. Kudafiti's over the top of him, and the ball up probably on that centre pad once more.
Carlton certainly throwing around their midfielders too. We've got Bradley and Ratton starting outside the circle, but they'll come in at certain times. Freeborn's moved in there. So just trying to upset the Fremantle midfielders at the moment, just to confuse them a little bit.
Allen edged under it and penalised. Longmuir pleads his case, nothing doing. Allen will get the free kick.
Surprised young James Walker's on the bench too, because he was responsible for 7 of 31 rebounds outside of the 50 for Fremantle the other night. And this is the problem with Luke Toyer and Kudafiti's, Dennis, is that Kudafiti's is just going to absolutely kill him in the air.
Well, Luke Toyer's done the next best thing.
He's got a lot of possessions, hasn't he?
Well, he's landed on him too. But Kuda, look at him. A powerhouse. Slow to get up. But such is his form at the moment. For all of that, he could go back and just about land this one. 37 possessions last week, 14 in the third term. Quite inspirational. The previous week, 32 possessions. Rare form, Anthony Kudafiti's. Kicks from inside the centre square, setting it up in effect for the forwards. And Hamill gets in front to take the mark on his chest. And that was poor defending by the Dockers. No urgency there. And Hamill getting on the end of a clever kick.
I actually saw Sean McManus just standing out to the side, and whether he had the ability to get in and get in front of Hamill, but almost looked like the ball actually held up in the breeze there. We talked about John Worsfold hearing him say the plane, saying it's quite tricky at the moment. And I think Bandy just misjudged that. I thought he actually thought the ball was going to start a lot higher, but it just fell very suddenly.
Aaron Hamill, good-looking effort. He's got the goal.
Not really the start that Fremantle were looking for. They certainly won't want to allow Carlton to dominate the early parts of the quarter like they did in the first. But again, it's just shows the importance of getting out of the centre, and that's the real problem at the moment. It's putting a lot of pressure on the Fremantle defence. It's only a young defence, and they need as much help as possible from these midfielders.
Aaron Hamill putting Carlton's 6th goal. He kicked 5 against the Eagles on this ground last season. Exciting forward. He's got 14 goals on the year now. The margin is 23 points. Longmuir up very early, directs it down to Cook, who had nowhere to go. Eventually, at the second attempt, tried to move the ball, didn't. Allen, Kudafides inside the centre square, trying to pinpoint it inside the 50. I think intended for Whitnell. Ratton coming across on the angle, took the mark, spots a man down towards the pocket. Franchina's got it, but the umpire wants it to come back.
Just way too easy again, out of the sort of centre, and it's really a major concern.
Well, we talked about it coming in, the experience, the wily veterans in this Carlton side, particularly inside the centre square, and some youth in there for Fremantle at that last bounce. Ratton, good-looking effort, just tapering off over the last 5 or 6 metres of the trip and the behind. He's not. 44 plays 20. Parker to bring it in. And this hasn't been a strength today. Kicks it to himself. Now goes for distance up towards the wing. Longmuir, good mark. Justin Longmuir, body to body with Christou and beat him. Now he chips towards the wing. McKay, you'd like his chances. Should have got a free kick and will. Interfered with. He's a fine aerialist. Christou plays on. Advantage is paid. In fact, no, it's not. It's coming back. And McKay's got it. Right centre wing for the Blues. And the bright sunshine at Subiaco Oval on Sunday afternoon. Kicking down towards half forward. Hamill marks just inside the field of play. Hamill about 75 metres from goal. Favola offers a lead, but he centres it. Whitnell in best position. Well, he was forced to spoil. Missed by Kickett. Ratton tried to get the ball out to Allen. They battle after it in there. Fremantle desperate in defence. Longmuir over the ball. Got a hand pass on the up to Kickett. Steps out of trouble, gets the hand pass to Dodd. Dodd in turn found a teammate, and they'll run it out. Jones back to Dodd, confronted, in trouble, spills off his body, trying to crash his way through. Down there was Hamill. Jones got him, and we'll have a bounce. Well, Hazelby and Dodd had plenty of the ball, but nothing much good happened for the Dockers. They couldn't get it out of there.
We're just getting no room to move at the moment, and every time they seem to be trying to get out of defence, they're always under intense pressure from the Carlton defence. And they're really keen in keeping it inside their 50.
Bounce just outside the 50 then. Longmuir up very high. And a free kick is going to the Dockers. I heard a whistle. Black's hand pass was taken by McManus. Houghton picks up the ball. They played on in any case. There can't have been an advantage in there as Ratton kicks it down towards half forward. Bandy is outnumbered. Now Kickett arrives like the cavalry. Dragged down. Was he legged? The crowd thought so. Cook is taken to ground as well. Ball up and a whistle just outside the defensive 50 for the Dockers. And Carlton applying great pressure at the present time. They're committed on their forward line. Watch this again. Kickett. Tackle slips low. Well, not too low. Not a bad decision. Toya at the base of the pack. Couldn't control it. Freeborn wrestling in there.
Then talking to the Blues before this game, they said their big focus today was to get first use of the ball, not to give the Dockers the opportunity to run away with it, and it seems to be working. That's their big focus, and they're really applying some pressure. Yeah,
chasing hard from behind, aren't they? That's always been a tenet of David Parkin against the Dockers. Jones in trouble, couldn't get through. And once again, the umpire will have to call for it. Plenty of endeavour from players of both sides. Carlton 6-8, Fremantle 3-2, second term.
I think also there's that belief, Dennis, that if you put the pressure on the Carlton players and go to them, they'll turn over the ball a lot more time. And last week we saw them moving the ball very quickly against Collingwood, and they weren't getting caught, whereas today they seem to just be a little bit slower in their movement.
Up very high, Longmuir. He's got a great leap. Battle after it. Ratton sockers the ball off the ground. It goes 10 metres closer to goal. Interesting by Ship, like a basketballer. Koutafidis did well. Favola's hand pass over the top. Dodd. Oh, well played by Troy Cook. Bought himself some time. Little hesitation move. Kicks it towards the outer side. Leading back in the race is Christo. Kept his footing well. Still Ange Christo. Can't find the handle. Bradley came across on the assist. Now a chance for Mansfield. He fell over. Well played though by Mansfield to his feet. Aided by a good Shepherd. Runs away. Bouncing it around the outer side. Freeborn was the Shepherder. Kicked to half forward. From behind was Troy Longmuir. Tries to juggle the ball off opposing hands. Still he goes. Standing up in the tackle, Ratton. Camporelli kicks from 45. Just missed. Deserved a goal. Gee, the work in there was great. How about Ratton? In the grasp. Stood up and got the hand pass off to Camporelli.
And really, Longmuir a minute ago when the ball came deep in and there was Bandy and Koutafidis going for the mark, Longmuir came from behind it. And as a backman, you should really punch in that situation. You can't be taking any chances and hoping you're going to take a mark. Punch it out of bounds on there and just reassess yourself again from there.
Shane Parker to bring it in then. Broadcast side with a kick, not his best effort. Hazelby's in front. It's knocked away by Hamill, and it goes out of bounds. So Carlton lead it by 25 points now.
Just on their kickouts, Dennis, none of the Fremantle players seem to be running. They just seem to be standing there and waiting for the ball to come to them. That's allowing then the Fremantle, or the Carlton players to come over and spoil. They've got to be on the move for the person kicking out about from out of their fullback.
Advantage paid. Longmuir was going to get a free. Hazelby chips it up towards the wing. Outnumbered is Pavlich. The new dad Silvani slipped the hand pass away to Rice. Rice comes to the wing. Whitnell has to stretch, takes the mark. Whitnell looks towards the middle. Hume in front of Kickett. Feeds it back to McKay. McKay, deceptively quick, kicks inside the 50. High bouncing ball. Up was Favola. Got it down to Koutafidis. Koutafidis turns and snaps. And narrowly misses.
Just a quick turnover from Carlton then. They were able to swing the ball very quickly into their forward line. And just the quickness of exactly what I was saying. They've got players on the lead all the time. They've got people giving them opportunities. And Fremantle just really struggling to move the ball into their forward line at the moment.
Brown around the outer side. Rice favoured by the kick, dropped it. Now an opportunity for Ship on his knees. Hand passes it straight to Rice. Rice kicks it about 25 metres. A nothing kick really. Dodd tries to spear it towards Cook. Eventually it came to him. Well, very lucky. The mark was missed by Carlton. Black gets it across to Bootsma. And Bootsma's away, showing a bit of pace there. Some Bootsma scooting. He gets it across to Toya. Toya from 60 metres out, unloads, and has kicked a goal from long range.
Well, a minute ago I was saying how Fremantle were really trying to find it hard to get across their half-back line, and within moments they've turned that around. And just the pinpoint accuracy then of the Fremantle players was a lot better than what they've been doing so far. Their turnover rate, and just Luke Toy being able to find a little bit of man. He's ran forward of his player on Koutafidis, so it was a little bit better work.
So the Dockers hanging with Carlton, 6-10 to 4-2. And so often we see these days, if you don't put sides away, they will have their moment in the sun and they can come back to bite you. Toya smothered off the boot. Houghton going to ground, got the hand pass. Down goes Dodd in there, and Toya picked up by Jones. Michael did well. Hazelby inside the centre square. Kicks inside the 50. Waterhouse has got it to kick it. Kick it. Can he finish? It's a pretty clever kick. It favours Coots, who was tackled in midair by Beaumont. Goes to ground. It scrambles across the face. Now here's a chance for Silvani. Late night Steve picks it up out of the back pocket. Shocking kick. It comes out towards the boundary and trickles across the line. Well, it seemed that Coots perhaps should have got a kick there. Watch it again. In midair as he tackled. He's held. Not a lot to it. Certainly it wasn't a push in the back.
It's probably a clever way of doing it by Beaumont there. Didn't really give the umpire any reason to make a free kick out of it.
He expanded the envelope in terms of the rule, just clinging on a little bit, but Nothing too pronounced. Camporelli did well. Got it out to Freeborn. Interesting hand pass. Still inside the 50. Bootsma missed it. Goes back, lays a tackle. And the umpire decides to ball it up. Christo at the base of that.
You really get that feeling that after Luke Toy, all of a sudden the work rate of the Fremantle players have just slightly lifted. The crowd's got behind them a little bit. There just seems to be a little bit more urgency than what they've been displaying so far.
Bounce about 40 metres out. Allen props in front. Michael came over the top. Awkward bounce for Ship. Camporelli out of defence. Interesting situation here. Bradley, terrible bounce. Room service bounce for Bandy. Bandy turns around, kicks and misses. Well, could have done better there. Kick from about 40. But terrible luck for Craig Bradley. He was running hard. It landed on its point and went back over his shoulder. Short one to McKay. Lays it off to Beaumont. Beaumont kicking it up towards the wing. In front, Whitnell could have almost got it free. It was knocked away by Parker. Down goes Kickett. Parker's over the ball, needs to be careful. Somehow got it out to Kickett against the flow. Koutafidis with strength got the hand pass away. Allen lumbers onto the foot. He's about 60 metres out. Says it's yours, Whitnell. Whitnell is met by Bandy. Well, Lance couldn't do much with that. It was a hand pass in hope. Trying to lob it, I think, into the path of Whitnell so that he could take it on the full. Once it bounced, Whitnell always had a problem. And the Dockers had the numbers. It was 3-on-2. So a boundary throw in about 55 metres out from Carlton's attacking goal. Allen in front. Michael, clean possession at the back. Taken by Cook to Kickett. Kickett at centre half back. Hand pass out wide. Now McManus released into space. Has a bounce running up towards the wing. Long kick down towards half forward. Coots in front of Beaumont. Awkward bounce again, but Carlton have got the coverage this time. Mansfield gets it back to Beaumont. Beaumont outside the 50. Wastes the kick. Out of bounds on the full outer side. McManus will take it. Fremantle have lifted, as Chris said. Having a shot here, and they need to. Carlton generally controlling this game.
The problem is they don't have any big men to kick forward to, Dennis, in this situation. They're really relying on Coops, who's not what you'd call an overly tall player.
McKay went back with courage, butters up again and knocks it across the line. He's a warrior, Andrew McKay.
He's in great form, and actually that half-back line of Carlton's a bit like the 95 to the side. They're very strong. They work together. They rebound the football like we saw there a moment ago. Unfortunately, Beaumont kicked it out. But that's going to be the key to Fremantle, where they can keep penetrating this half-back line of Carlton.
Allen knocked it down. McKay got it to Rice, who's going without the helmet today. The footy came back to him.
That was a good tackle.
Ship took him front on. And the umpire will ball it up just inside the attacking 50. There's a forearm jolt in there. I don't think intended, but that's the way it worked out. The footy sandwiched between the pair of them.
Speaking inside 50, Dennis, 24 to Carlton, 11 to Fremantle. So that's the difference just there.
Michael stayed on his feet. The difference just there. Gets the hand pass away. How did he put it on the ground, McManus? Doesn't matter. Rice has got it now. Hard against the boundary line. Hooks it back, but only as far as Hazelby. Paul Hazelby, about 55 metres out. Looks towards the middle. Sets it up high. Waterhouse going back. Didn't touch the footy. It's spiked out of there by Silvani towards the boundary and taken across by Favola, who's a long way up the ground. And we'll have a throw in.
If you're Paul Hazelby looking there into your forward line, there was just that many players. There's so many Carlton players getting back. But that's why Fremantle need to get the ball in there very quickly so that Carlton aren't flooding the back line.
19 points the difference. Chance for Bandy again. Dragged down. Well done by Koutafidis. Affected the kick in the opposite pocket. Ship has taken the mark right on the boundary line. Bandy offers. Ship comes to Bandy, and Bandy's marked on a far better angle, about 15 metres in from the boundary, and should kick a goal here. Quick thinking by the pair of them. Bearing in mind it was Bandy who kicked the ball, and Ship waited until the umpire had indicated he could go. So often we see the player kick prematurely and the umpire call it back. So Ship, a young man, kept his head. And Bandy finish. 6-10, 4-3. Daniel Bandy, 45-degree angle, gets a goal. Fremantle back in town.
Yeah, well, they've certainly picked up their work rate since that Luke Toyer goal, and that's just a little bit of the difference. They seem to be very flat in that first quarter and the early part of the second quarter, but now they're starting to lift their work rate like they've done in the past few weeks. They were sensational against Collingwood last week. And as you mentioned, Dennis, I was very impressed with young Shipton, because as soon as he took the mark, he ran back straight away. He knew that he wasn't going to kick a goal from that situation. He needed somebody inboard, and very smart play by Daniel Bandy.
Schuster's on the ground. Pavlich is off. 6-10 plays 5-3. So despite their dominance, Carlton can see Fremantle in the rear view mirror right now. Here's Toyer again alongside the centre circle. Down towards half forward. Going back. Terrific effort by Christo. Taken by Mansfield. Awkward hand pass. Brilliantly picked up by Franchina. Kicks through the centre square. Whitnell goes up. Strong hands. Plays on. A little premature. Got it to Allen. Runners up ahead. This is Hume right on the 50. Goes for a vacant goal square. It slides across the face. Leading back is Brown, but he's not required. It's a behind.
Hey, Dan, this is brilliant. We've got Daniel Bandy playing on Anthony Koutoufides, the matchup we all wanted, in the middle of the ground, while Michael's taking on Allen in the ruck. Just fantastic stuff.
More like the modern pentathlon. There's Bandy. Two fine athletes. Coming back, Whitnell dropped the mark. Bandy's got it now. To the path of Cook. Standing up in the tackle, Hazelby. This is Parker. Across half back, around the corner. Bootsma has it. Man on in the centre. He kicks and finds Black. I don't think it was his intention, but he's got it anyway. Black from the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Coots is battling down there with Beaumont. Beaumont a bit stiff. Dropped the mark. Coots spots Waterhouse. And Waterhouse barely beyond 10 has taken the mark directly in front.
You'd have to say the tide slowly started to turn in Fremantle's way, Dennis. They've been fantastic in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Chris.
Pushing
They're working
forward.
hard, aren't they?
Yep. And Carlton are making a lot of changes at the moment. Saw Manton come off. Rice has come off. Franchina's come off. Hickmont's back on. So there's obviously some concerns from the Carlton coaching staff. And now Matthew Allen is coming off.
It's a blood rule.
On Matthew Allen, the blood rule. A couple came off at the same time as Waterhouse, oblivious to all of that. Kicks his third goal.
Well, that's the result you get when you put your head down, get in underneath it, and good play by young Black to actually move it on quick, because I was critical there before of saying that Fremantle not having a real big tall forward line, they need to get it down quickly to their small forwards, because if they're just going to bomb it in, then the Carlton is playing into the hands of the Carlton defence.
Clem Michael going up the race. Now, Barrett, is that the blood rule as well?
Yes, that's amazing. 2 blood rules. He's split his eyebrow, going to get some stitches, and Matthew Allen's having a rest at the moment as well.
Okay. So Allen not off under the blood rule. His opponent, Clem Michael, is. So it's Houghton and Longmuir back in the centre square at that last bounce. Pretty tough in there. Freeborn got it out to Hume, dragged down. Houghton stood up. Nicely done. Nelson got it away. Beaumont at the feet of Fletcher. It bounced obligingly. Kept his head. Well done, young man. And came back to Franchina. Inside the attacking 50. So easy there for Fletcher to come up and blaze away. In the background, Camporelli getting involved with Dodd. Saw it fleetingly. But Franchina, undervalued player, I think, by some in this Carlton outfit. Always gets the job week in, week out. And generally does it to good effect. Anthony Franchina. Carlton could do with a goal. He goes very close to the man on the mark. It's a wobbly old kick, but it's straight enough. It's a goal.
Almost thought that was a very good move there by Sean McManus. Often when you're marking the mark, you show the umpire where it is, and then basically what you're trying to do is back off 5 or 10 metres, and hopefully the person who's taking the kick won't have been watching, and then when he starts to run in, you basically run and attack him, and it slightly puts him off, and that could have almost been the case there with Franchini. Got very close, as Dennis said, to McManus, but a handy goal there for Carlton.
So it's the Blues by 14 points. 6 minutes out from half-time. They needed that one. Suddenly the run of play had started to go Fremantle's way. Longmuir waits. Houghton came with the run. Down to Hazelby. Hazelby Gets out of there, scrambles a kick out towards the wing. Troy Cook has got it now, running down towards half forward, kicking inside the 50. Awkward half volley, played well by Mansfield, who stifled it. It comes out towards Black. Mansfield came again, brilliantly done. Camporelli got it to Christou, over the top to McKay, out against the boundary line. The hand pass intended there for Freeborn. Hickmott got it to him. They were playing in a telephone box there, Carlton. They did it brilliantly. Whitnell on the end of it now inside the centre square. Down towards centre half forward for the Blues. Kicks inside the 50. Brown down there with Koutafidis. Koutafidis with the strength. Turns around and kicks a goal.
Geez, the support from the runners of Carlton then was fantastic coming out of the back line there. Every time they wanted to start turning around and finding a target they could. And that's the beauty of having someone like a Lance Whitnell playing at centre half forward. He leads up, he's a strong mark. It gives you a focal point to kick to. And he just completely outclassed Parker with his strength. And then just basic quick on play. Young Brown really didn't do anything wrong here by Koutafidis. Really just got pushed underneath the play. And they're back in control now.
Michael Mansfield was superb in defence. His second effort coming finding the footy again. Set up that whole chain of events down the ground, and as I said, really working in a confined space. Likewise Hamill, upended by Cook. It spills across the Bootsma, kicking it down towards half forward. McKay reaches over the top of Black, took the mark, and suddenly Carlton have been prodded into reaction here. Forward of the wing, Bradley pulls it back inside the 50. Jones backed himself. Probably in that situation, you would have expected the punch. He decided to go for the mark, and he took it. Toya's on for the short one. Ratton was trying. He spotted that the kick was coming, but couldn't quite get across on the angle to chop it off. Toya up towards the wing. McManus launched himself, couldn't hang on, and there's a free kick down in front to Justin Longmuir after all of that. Something of an anticlimax. Longmuir. How about that for a lick? Sean McManus. Longmuir kicks to the wing. Franchina in front, takes the mark. Under no pressure. Christou sent away on his natural left foot, pulls it back towards half forward. Bootsma over the top, got a fist on it. Chance for Carlton. Bad luck as Hickmott slipped over. Parker slips the hand pass away to Cook. Cook across the ground, kick it cleverly. Fletcher keeps at him. Good shepherd from Bandy. Kick it bounces to his feet. Tries to go through. That was very ambitious. It bounces across though. The hand pass to Black. Black pinpoints it well. Runners on down the ground. They have the numbers briefly. Carlton running hard. Camporelli did well to get across on McManus. Toya realises that was shut down, so he kicks inside the 50. Silvani goes up and thumps it across the boundary line. Stephen Silvani, there he is. A dad overnight. Congratulations to the Silvani family. Game number 277 for him. Some suggestion he may not play. He turns 33 at the end of the month, is the new dad. And his dad played 238 games for Carlton. One of my dad's favourites, Sergio. Now there's a bend as Freeborn comes away and kicks inside the centre square. Kickett got a hand to it. They've got 2-on-1, but the one did brilliantly. Well played by Hume, forced the error. Hickmott kicks inside the 50, and Koutafidis, isolated on Brown, has taken the mark about 30 metres out.
Well, there's no way you're going to stop Anthony Koutafidis from taking that mark when you're 5 or 10 metres out in front. And Brown should have perhaps been just trying to read that play a little bit better. Again, they had numbers of the ball in that centre half forward situation, 3-on-1.
Koutafidis tugs it to the left. A reprieve for the Dockers with Carlton on song now and looking very dangerous.
But again, just rebound football off that half-back line. Fremantle, as I said, have really got to find their targets up forward. They can't be afford to bombing it in long, because you will have the Carlton defence like Silvani just punching from behind all day.
Interesting coaching duel, this one. Damien Drum holding his own with David Parkin, but the ball now in his court. As Parkin has put Koutafidis down there, and Drum staying with Brown. As you'd expect, Brown has been very good in recent weeks. Longmuir just gives it away, pops it up towards the middle, and the mark is taken by Fletcher. He wants to go. Fletcher kicks inside the 50. Ratton in best position behind him. From the side was Houghton. Down goes Hickmott, got the hand pass away. Koutafidis on the ground. Somehow got it to Hume, but he's kicked a goal.
Geez, that was a class act from Anthony Koutafidis then, wasn't it?
How did he do that?
The quickness of his handball out there to Hume. It was just complete reflex action. I don't know if we'll get a look at the replay, but let's take a look here. Everyone went up. Kudafidis basically went to the ground. We see he went for the in there first. And it was just a quick little handball over the top. Hume lucky not to have had the ball spoiled by Walker. But after being challenged through the middle part of this quarter, Carlton have now extended their lead. It's a handy lead too.
14 possessions for Anthony Kudafidis, and none better than that sleight of hand right there. Falling to the ground, the hand pass over the left shoulder, sending Hume away into an open goal, and suddenly this margin is blown out. Longmuir got the hand pass to Toya. It's starting in here. It starts again as Bradley throws it on the boot, and Hume takes the tumbling mark. Haven't they responded?
All their players just seem to be playing in front.
Freeborn knocks it on in front. Still he's going. Freeborn, open goal, beckons, and another one. Wow. Wonderful football by the Blues.
That was just way too easy. Again, they've got it out of the centre. Bradley was instrumental in doing that. But all of their players just seem to be playing in front. Hume got the mark in front of Toya. You saw the run from Freeborn running through. And even then, Kudafidis had led Brown up. And just no resistance from the Fremantle defence there too. It was just way too easy the way Hume was able to get past the Fremantle defence. You've got to aim for the body in those situations. Get around the waist.
Well, it seems like just moments ago the margin was 14 points. Now it's blown out to 33. 10-12 plays 6-3. Rucks go at it. Bradley doing very nicely, and so too Fletcher. Grabs the footy. High floating kick. They'll contest inside the centre square. Kick it was up to knock it down. Walker throws it on the boot. It wanders out towards the wing. In front was Bandy. Spills come to Hazelby. Hazelby kicks inside the 50. Hoops comes through strongly. Sockers to his own advantage. Can he keep it in? Well, yes, he did, but to the advantage of Beaumont. Beaumont indicating he stepped out of bounds. There was a slow whistle from the boundary umpire, and the central umpire obviously had to consider then holding the ball. But it was across the line. Yes, Barra.
Dan, Carlton have lost Dean Rice down the race with a corked thigh. May not see him again.
He does it tough, as Dean Rice. The hand pass from Fuster. Waiting for it down there was Christo. Down goes the umpire. Camporelli likewise. In at close quarters, Mansfield. Got it to Christo. It spills across to Bootsma. And Bootsma kicks a goal for the Dockers.
Well, I understand to say they needed that back, but just at the moment, for the Carlton players, they just guys like Bradley and that in the centre, and Ratton. I mentioned Fletcher are just getting the ball out of the centre too much. This time we saw Fremantle force it their way forward, and every time that Fremantle does go forward, they are getting results. So that's really the difference. If they can get the ball up in their forward line, some of their players are doing the work for them.
Well, approaching half-time, just over a minute to go. Centre square in the last 20 minutes really has been a reflection of the game. It generally is in footy, but very pronounced. That time Fremantle getting it out and finishing up with a goal. 72 plays 45 then. Bounce floats wide of the circle. Hamill is in there, going nowhere. Crashing in is Houghton.
Very interesting, the setup by the Carlton forwards. A couple of instances ago, we had 4 of their players across the half-forward line, and we've still got Kudafidis up at full forward. This time we only had 2 players and had the rest of the players starting on the wing, so they seem to have 2 or 3 set plays when they're coming out of the centre square.
And Michael has been to see the cut man. Houghton directs it down. Bandy tackled by Hamill. Goes after it again like a willing dervish in there. Gets the hand pass back towards the centre circle. Freeborn tries to pat it across to McKay. Hickmott dives after it, slaps it out. Cook hasn't got it. Eventually driven forward by Hazelby inside the 50, and Waterhouse, who's booted free, comes up and takes the mark on his chest with the clock down to 27 seconds. So there's a chance he could kick this one even after the siren.
Again, it just makes a complete difference when you get the ball out of the centre. It seems whoever seems to be winning the ball out of the centre, Dennis, they're going forward, they're kicking a goal. And I'd probably say that Carlton would have to be front in that area. I just mentioned a minute ago, every time that Fremantle does go forward, they are scoring.
So Waterhouse to equal his best effort against Carlton, right on the siren. I think he may have missed it. He has. Good result for the Blues. Mansfield comes across to discuss all of that. Mansfield himself had a very good term. So Waterhouse deflates the balloon there. They could have finished with the last 2 goals of the half, the Fremantle Dockers. Co-captain, well, captain today, McManus, comes across to have a timely word. But Carlton, what a powerful surge it was. Not to be underestimated in the outcome of this competition this season, Carlton. When they're playing well, they're very hard to contain. And really, when challenged there, Fremantle moved, as I said, to within 14 points, and that was like a signal. Kudafiti's going on the forward line with the 2 timely goals and made another one with that magnificent hand pass, falling to the ground, and somehow got the ball to Hume, sending Hume away to kick the goal. Still a lot to look forward to in this one. Fremantle have had their moments. They haven't been hopeless by any stretch of the imagination. So at half-time, it's Carlton 10-12, Fremantle 7-4.
The AFL Premiership Season 2000, brought to you by Harvey Norman, the new 3-litre turbo diesel petrol, and the bank that helps businesses make it happen.
To me, the stock market is a sea of numbers, where from only $29, Commonwealth Securities make trading shares on the internet really cheap. I was small fry before the bank's margin loan boosted my buying power. Working as a storeman is just a means to an end. It won't be where I'll be in the future.
Whether it's shares, managed funds or margin loans you dream about.
This is where I'd like to be.
Make it happen with the bank.
The Nissan Pulsar is so weighed down with extras, it's taken a bridge out, taken a ship out, and caused a blowout. Now, it's having a run out. This is your last chance to get this Pulsar Plus with aircon, airbag, CD, keyless entry, alloy wheels, and a rear spoiler for only $19,990. The Pulsar Plus run out. Hurry, you don't want to miss it.
AFL, it's not a game, it's a way of life on C7 Sport. Every week we're serving up the biggest stars and the best showdowns right across the country. Off the field, we show you what's going on behind the scenes. Monday, 6:30 p.m, one-on-one takes you to the inner sanctum. 7:30, it's football feedback. Walls, Alves, Silvani, Connolly and Smith hitting the issues hard.
I would think that Dennis Pagan would get David King in this week and say, stop being a smart aleck.
They're intimidating. I've got no doubt we've gone into a couple of games this year where the mental attitude hasn't been right.
Thursday, 7:30 p.m, league teams with a difference with PD, Dakes and Harves.
If Sticky can maintain it, they're going to be a big team.
They'll be pretty happy.
They have a smile on their face.
Come home to AFL on C7 Sport.
10-12, 7-4, set to go in the third term from Subi. Trailing at half-time this season, neither Carlton or Fremantle have come from behind to win. Fremantle last did it round 7 last season against Geelong. Carlton last did it. They won't need to today. Round 10 last season on this ground against the West Coast Eagles.
Again, Dennis, Carlton have sort of gone to isolate their full forward and Kudafiti's just Brown and himself just inside the 50-metre area on their own.
Allen and Michael clean possession, tries to feed it away with a hand pass. Slung was freeborn, emerging with a football Camporelli, kicking it down towards half forward. Bootsma dropping back, takes the mark, swings it out very wide. Sinclair should mark this one, and he does. Into the action, Jez Sinclair back in the team, told to play on. Auspicious start. Kick it, prods it up towards half forward. Bandy, meters in the clear, goes looking for Coots, spots him, bounces off his fingertips. Franchina tidies up. Silvani across the goal face towards the outer side. Awkward bounce out there for Freeborn. Oh, well done by Cook, came hard. McKay and Cook, two hard doers. McKay laid it down into the path of Mansfield, who breaks away. Mansfield, high kick, carries the wing. Whitnell directed it down to his own advantage, goes after it. Jones got him down. Michael missed it. Taken in there by Hume. It spills across to Hamill eventually. Little sidestep. Kicks inside the 50. Kudafiti's with the judgment. Did he push? Not according to the umpire. Perfectly placed. And Kudafiti goes back and kicks his third.
Well, that goal really is a result of a bit of a turnover there by Clem Michael. He actually had the ball, and had he perhaps handballed it to one of his teammates, and they would have been away and running, but as it was, Hamill got hold of the ball, and young Brown actually didn't do anything wrong, tried to play it in front, but it just got forced underneath the ball, and whether Koutafidis got in the back there is a, well, he's got away with it, and quite an easy one. And that isolation seems to be working.
Anthony Koutafidis now 3 goals then, looming large on the forward line. They've cleared it out. He's the only man inside the 50 as the umpire restarts play. Well, when I say the only man, Brown is down there with him. Here's Ratton inside the centre square. Kicks inside the 50 again. Going back is Jones. With him is Whitnell. Interesting duel. Koutafidis coming up this time. Falling to the ground to Bradley. Bradley comes back to Koutafidis. Handles it like a loaf of bread. Camporelli knocks it over his head. This is Ratton 60 metres from goal. Spots a man. Whitnell and hits him on the chest.
At the moment, it looks like Anthony Koutafidis could break this game open apart. He's been instrumental in these first forays by Carlton into their forward line.
Almost time, I think, Chris, to drop somebody. Yeah, drop somebody back. I don't know about a change. What do you reckon about
Young Brown's done quite well, unless you put a long mirror or even Toy's picked up a lot of the ball, and he's playing on McKay at the moment on the half-forward line.
Well, maybe a body back there like Chris Grant for the Bulldogs against the Eagles last week as Whitnell hits the post. So a reprieve for the Dockers. Lance Whitnell normally kicks those.
And you probably would have to go with someone like a Longmuir with a bit of height there, Dennis.
Yeah, problem is you're giving a start, of course, so going defensive when you're trailing by 33 points.
Of course, and then they're having problems getting it past that half-back line into their forward line, so robbing Peter to pay Paul almost.
Yes. Well, Anthony is hurting them at the moment as the ball comes from Parker. Michael gave a contest behind McKay. Bandy, Cook playing his heart out again. He's having a terrific year. Kicks it towards the outer side wing. Nelson kept on his feet. Controls it pretty well. Late inclusion for Lappin, who's caught a virus. Now they can work it forward. Hazelby and Dodd combining out there. Under pressure was Dodd. Kicks it down towards the attacking 50. Silvani peeled off. Read it nicely. Took the mark. Kicks it back to the wing. Ratton. Slick hands away. This is McKay. Towards centre half forward, marked by Whitnell. Koutafidis is breaking. The kick goes in that direction. Koutafidis tries to knock it down. Looking for support. Allen couldn't control it. Hamill comes to his aid and kicks another one.
Well, something serious has to be done now because that isolation with Koutafidis on Brown up there, and basically what they're doing is they have all of their forwards that sit between the 50-metre line and the half-forward line. And it's a one-on-one situation, and they then just ask as many players as possible to get down. And as you notice, it's a lot of their taller players too seem to be getting around the ball. You had Hamill and Allen, who are their taller forwards. Of course, Allen's in the ruck, but a bit too easy for him at the moment.
So what about the initiation of Lee Brown? He's played on some big names this season in his rookie season, but none bigger than Anthony Koutafidis, a man in rare form, as we said earlier. Ratton digging it out of the middle again, combining with Camporelli. Well, the alarm bells are sounding now for the Dockers. The kick inside the 50. Jones goes back, juggles it. In effect, it helped him. Got the hand pass away to Walker, who chips around the outer side and finds McManus. McManus with Carlton, having scored the opening 2 goals of the term, got it to Bandy. Bandy comes back towards the middle. Awkward one for Bootsma. Bounced awkwardly for him, but eventually it comes across to Kickett. Kickett kicks down towards half-foot. A bit of luck there for the Dockers. Black in front. Kept his footing close to the boundary line. Can't keep it in. So boundary throw in about 60 metres out from the Dockers. Attacking goal. They're going to the western end of the ground into what breeze there is.
So just Sinclair throwing his hands up in the air, and he was out there on his own. If Dale Kickett had just have to use his vision, he would have been able to pinpoint Sinclair, and perhaps they could have been inside now.
Ratton started this quarter very well. Couldn't control that one. Neither could Waterhouse. McKay back to Ratton. An air of inevitability about this at the moment. Inside the 50. Whitnell in trouble. Dragged down into the path of Bradley. Has he got the pace to get away? Doesn't need it. Had the poise. Got it to Hamill, who didn't have the poise. Had more time than he knew. And he misses to the right-hand side. It could just about be over already, you know. We've played just a couple of minutes in this third term, but Carlton have come out firing.
Clearly evident just the will of the Carlton players wanting to run to support that we saw on the half-back line. There was 3 Carlton players and 1 with Ratton. They were all around the ball. They continue to run, and even when we went forward there, Bradley had sort of backup support. So There's just no resistance at the moment, and it's just going to be a lot tighter up. And again, in these kick-ins, they just stand there. They don't move towards the players. It just makes it so hard when you're trying to kick in.
Very short to Bootsma, who looks towards the middle. Kick it was there momentarily, but closed down. So Bootsma told to play on out of the back pocket, goes for distance up towards the wing. Allen came back. McManus did well, gave a contest. The hand pass, awkward one for Sinclair, played it pretty well. Jones hurriedly onto the boot. It bounces on the wing. Silvani comes up, taken front on by Hazelby. Well played by Stephen Silvani. Got it across to Ratton, linking them up well. Gets it to Hickmott alongside the centre circle. Probing kick inside the 50. Up was Kafides with that one hand we saw against Sydney last week, only then he marked it. Brown took it from Bootsma, chips it back to the defensive 50. Sinclair goes inside the centre square and kick it. Kickett's hand pass to Michael. Michael alongside the centre circle. Kicks inside the 50. Presto played it well, got a fist on it. Missed down in front by Nelson. Surely a push in the back there. Nothing doing, and we're going to have a bounce. Well,
Clive definitely got in the back there, didn't he?
Mansfield should have got a free and didn't.
Good to see him, though, not getting up and remonstrating with the umpire. It's what a lot of players can do if they don't get the free kick.
I don't think he's an umpire's favourite, Michael Mansfield. Knocked down by Allen. Coming through is Nelson. Releasing Camporelli. A couple of bounces through midfield. Searching run. Kicks to half forward. Whitnell getting down and dirty in this term. He kicks towards the pocket. Koutafidis closing on Brown. Brown didn't take it cleanly. Koutafidis did. A half chance was enough. Pulling it back was Bradley. It was half smothered in front. Kick it. Bandy picks it up. Great pressure from Hume. Bandy knocks it back to kick it. Confronted by Bradley. Pushed across the line eventually by Bootsma. He was taken down by Hume, making no concessions in there, Carlton. That was wonderful pressure from the players on the forward line.
Some bench news, Dan. Glenn Manton, Favola and Fletcher are there, and also Dean Rice, who has a problem with his right thigh they're trying to work on, but at this stage looks like he may not play the rest of the game.
Somehow I don't think they'll need him either.
Michael Bootsma across to Dodd, who kicks it around the outer side. Hazelby in front looking for a kick, nothing doing. Waiting behind, Ratton again, slung as he kicked this time, comes across to Fletcher. Hazelby came back into the fray brilliantly. On his knees, Nelson. At close quarters, McKay. He's taken across the boundary line by Parker. Black comes off. Euster comes on. And this crowd very vocal, but at the moment their team is well and truly in trouble.
Euster getting his first run for today, and hopeful to boost that half-forward line where their problem is at the moment.
Might have been on briefly in the second term, I think, but hasn't had an impact. Freeborn, Camporelli certainly having an impact, and so too this man. Koutafidis will kick it goal from about 35 metres out. Well, as I said before, a couple of bounces ago back in the centre, he was the only man, along with his marker, Lee Brown, inside the forward 50 for the Blues. And it's working a treat. And really now, a chance to establish what should be a match-winning lead. Not so much by the score, but the way they're doing it. They're slicing the Dockers apart. Koutafidis kicks his fourth.
And really that goal was set up by the work from Camporelli off the throw in there, and just bad work really by young Brad Dodd, who's playing on him. He just didn't get between Camporelli. We'll have a look at this in a minute. The ball comes over the back, which is a dangerous situation, and there's Camporelli with just no resistance whatsoever. And you really, if you're going to be playing on a guy like Camporelli, you know that he runs forward. He went 13 times inside the 50 last week, so get in between him and the goals, make him run through you.
Interesting quartet inside the centre square for the Dockers. They've got Michael and Bandy together with Toyer and Cook, and they're opposed to Ratton, Camporelli, Freeborn, and the big man Allen. Allen goes up. Michael knocks it away from him, though. Bandy applies a tackle. Hickmott gets a hand pass to Allen, slips it to McKay. Brilliantly done. The look-away hand pass found Ratton. Fletcher's on the end of that. Kicks inside the 50. Koutafidis should get a free, and he will. Koutafidis. Well, how do you describe his form in recent weeks? And probably the best part of the season. 32 possessions in round 7. 39 last week. Or was it 37? It was 37. We'll deduct him 2. 14 in the third term. 7 marks, 7 kicks, 7 hand passes. And took Sydney by the scruff of the neck and threw them out of Melbourne. There he is from 40 metres out. Koutafidis has got 5.
Fremantle have some serious problems now, and there's holes just bombing up all throughout their defence and through their midfield. Again, they're just been too dominant throughout that centre square clearance, and every time they're going forward, Koutafidis is basically a one-on-out situation. Brown's trying extremely hard, but with the pressure that he's constantly being put in, he's always going to be finding it pretty tough against Anthony Koutafidis. So, some more manning up to be done by Fremantle. Must be all that lovely home cooking. He still lives at home with his mother. Does Anthony Koutafidis, Dennis?
That's the secret. 12.5 minutes till three-quarter time. And I said Kouta had 5. I thought he's got 4. I've got him down for 5, Chris. We've got to check the books. As Bandy kicks towards half forward, Waterhouse drops it. Hazelby knocks it out towards the boundary line. Clive offers a Shepherd. The kick comes inside the 50. Hickmott gets a hand pass away. This is Franchina. Across the goal face. Element of danger. Fletcher does well, takes the mark.
They just seem to do it so easy, just their release. They always seem to have options because all their players are moving all the time, which makes it a lot easier.
High kick back towards midfield. Kick it from behind. Camporelli. His hand pass intercepted by Sinclair. Kick wanders back towards the middle. Beaumont. Hickmott. Hickmott's hand pass comes to Hume. Hume running down towards half forward. Gets to 50. High kick, floating kick. Good kick. No, just missed. Out to the right. Koutafidis in two minds there. Didn't know whether to go for it or shepherd it through. Decided eventually to shepherd.
And then they've bitten the bullet.
Less than a metre.
Sorry, the Dockers have bitten the bullet. They've put Daniel Bandy down onto Kouta, the one I guess you guys have been asking for. And it will rob the Dockers of run, but had to be made, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing at the moment, though, Adrian's that the Dockers don't have any run whatsoever, and whether it's the last 2 weeks of trying to finally catching up on them, because a lot of their players look very tired and slow today.
Brown kicking towards the outer side. Whitnell surrounded. Michael came hard. Taken by Bradley hard against the line. Very high ball, this one. They come from all directions. Offhands Hume. I think with intent, knocked it across to Fletcher to Freeborn, who snaps. Oh, that's terrific work. Another one for the Blues.
Well, what is Fremantle supposed to do here? Just under enormous pressure. And it's just a continual drive from people like Bradley and their midfield players who are just continually pumping the ball into the forward zone. We've got Dockers players flying all over the place and not having any of their smaller players on the ground, and this is where Carlton are basically just sticking to their game plan of open forward line, kick it long, then have runners to crumb.
Scott Freeborn has bid 3 goals. Just checking those goal scorers. Koutafidis has 4. Hume's got 2. I think I gave Kouta one that Hume kicked, and I was in a Koutafidis funk. Not hard to do here at the moment. Allen goes up, knocks it down. Camporelli got a hand pass away. Hickmott goes after it. Slick hands again. They're putting on a clinic. Ratton been in everything. So too Koutafidis. Well played this time by Bandy, knocking it away.
And then the Dockers midfielders have just got to catch on to what Allen's doing. He's just really just touching the ball and just letting it drop. And with the, you know, you've got good underneath players like Ratton who are just first in there. Hickmott was in there, a situation like that. They've got to get in front of him.
Well, Fremantle haven't scored in this term. Waterhouse getting that behind right on the half-time siren. Camporelli to Hamill. Hamill on the 50, spots a loose man. Freeborn barely went to 10. He's got 3 goals and fancies a 4th. It's there for the taking the way this game is going.
I suppose we're talking about Fremantle and they're not manning up, but then again, credit where credit's due, and that's to the Carlton players who are just all over the place at the moment.
105 to 46. Freeborn pulls it to the right and behind. 106 to 46. Well, Fremantle, too many of them chasing the ball carrier, and as a result, so many options opening up for the Blues in and around. You saw it there. 3 Dockers chasing the ball. Here's Brown.
The problem now is the second possession, Dennis. They've just got no one to kick it up to. They haven't got a tall player. Michael's now pushing across with Allen.
Brown kicking it up towards the wing, and Michael. Allen knocks it away. Camped in front. Ratton gets it away to Beaumont. Beaumont kicks inside the 50. Bandy backs himself against the half volley. Controls it pretty well. Kicks it back to midfield. Allen had it knocked away by Coops. A good result for the Dockers. In close, working hard was Hazelby, but the hand pass intercepted by Camporelli, and he goes short to Hickmott, who's got it about 55 metres from goal. As impressive as any team we've seen this year, the Blues. Hickmott unloads and kicks a monster goal.
Well, just another classic case of having numbers around the ball and around their contest, and when the ball's been released, they've got options up forward because their players are playing in front. And when the Fremantle players look back on this game, they'll see what we're talking about, because there's 1, 2, 3 Fremantle players, and there you've got Hickmott out in front, and you just can't do that at this level of football. A very nice long kick from Hickmott too to finish it off with. Carlton have gone 13 times inside their 50 for 10 scoring shots this quarter, and that's really just telling the story, Dennis.
Yep, 16-16 to 7-4, reflecting all of that on the scorecard. Coming with the run is Allen, knocks it down. Hazelby camped at their feet, kicks it up towards half forward. Pavlich comes out, knocks it across to McManus. Can they go inside 50 here? Yes, they do. It bounces down towards Fuster, in trouble, taken by Christou. The hand pass, as a result, slews out of bounds. The boundary throw in.
At least we saw that situation where I was talking about. Paul Hazelby was right in underneath Matty Allen's feet, because Allen's just basically just tapping it right down next to him. And if you're first there, then you're going to get your hands on the ball first.
The Blues have been explosive in this term, similar to what they did for about 5 or 6 minutes midway through the second term. Bradley got it away. Franchina comes to Silvani, kicks it back towards the wing. Black's in the road though. Dodd breaks for him towards the middle. Even that kick's not good. Misses the mark. Dodd's got problems now. Freeborn showing no mercy. Came up, clutched it, pulls it back inside the centre square. Hamill can run on, elects not to. Goes looking for Koutafidis, dragged down there by Bandy. Play goes on. Through comes Jones. Kicks it out towards the wing, and Toya bearing down is Hickmott. Not a bad tackle either. Hickmott battles with Toya. In comes Black. Diving in there is Hamill. Over the top comes Brown. The ball spills out. They're trying to get it out. Well, at least I think Jones was trying to get it out. Hamill was quite content to tie it up for the Blues, and will have a bounce.
I think Linky Toy didn't have anybody there to tell him what was going on, because he sort of turned around, was quite surprised to find he had an opposition player right on top of him, and he didn't get the free kick because he basically ducked his head into it.
Well, going on the day, he shouldn't have been surprised. There's Sinclair kicking it up towards the wing. It pitches just inside the line, runs on about 10 metres and goes out. Carlton have been relentless.
They just had way too much of the footy too. 73 possessions to 38, almost double. If you're getting that much amount of the ball, it's little wonder you're on front in the scoreboard.
Tossed in, Michael reaches over the top. Coops must get a free, nothing doing. Hazelby trying to come through. Freeborn hand passes back towards the wing. Black, great tackle by Hickmott. Hasn't their tackling been good? No easy tackle, that one, to take him front on, particularly when Black's a left footer, but Hickmott showing discipline. Just going at the body and working him down. Former Cat. Thrown on the wing then. Otten was in front. Hazelby, in all of this, having a pretty good turn. He kicks inside the 50. Silvani, was it? No, it was Christou who knocks it out of bounds in the direction of Silvani. Silvani was coming up with Pavlich. Christou coming up with Fuster. Inside the 50. No surprises there. It's all Carlton. And the umpire Goldsbank having a word to Stephen Coops. Now Coops is sat down. They've told him to watch out for Franchina. Didn't hear him. It's taken by Michael. Michael hooks it back in front. Pavlich knocked away in the pocket. Here's a chance for the Dockers. The hand pass came from Black. Michael couldn't control it. Fuster. Now a chance for Hazelby. 55 metres out. Centering kick. They come from all directions. Kickett got a hand to it. Christou couldn't control it. Dodd grabs it and kicks a goal. Hard work.
Yeah, a lot of hard work's been done young by Paul Hazelby, and really the strength of Paul Hazelby is in and underneath work. He's been a fantastic pickup so far for Fremantle, and he's been inspirational in this goal here. We can sort of see him, just a lot of poise for a young man, doesn't seem to panic too much in situations. And finally they just managed to force the ball forward and get one. But it's really been all one-way traffic for most of the day.
Paul Hazelby, 20 possessions. This is his best term so far. He looked apart from day one. 31 possessions on debut against the Cats. Down goes Fletcher. Bradley got the hand pass away. Brown going through the motions. Camporelli's got it. Brown tackled him. Trying to crash his way through the pack was Hamill. He was ridden down. Michael emerges with it. Hand pass comes out wide. Walker's got the run of it, then left it behind. Here's a chance for the Blues. Hume couldn't control it. Walker on his knees. Hazelby in close. Got it to Michael. Black gets a hand pass to Walker. Walker on the wing then, running down towards half forward. Kicks inside the 50. Nelson goes back with great courage and takes a wonderful mark. Given the scoreboard, you've got to admire that sort of courage. Nelson kicks it back towards the wing. Hickroft had it knocked away there by Kickett, and a boundary throw in. Says something about this Carlton outfit as well. Nelson, not a regular, not an automatic selection. And no doubt he's very aware of that and keen to force his way into the team, so making no concessions. Hazelby again gets the hand pass away. Sinclair back to Hazelby. What a wonderful youngster. He kicks down towards the 50. Stephen missed it. Pavlich has got it. Steve came back to fight another day. Great stuff. Silvani slaps it out wide. Great effort by McKay. Dodd didn't know what hit him. Coming away is Mansfield. Probing kick to half forward and Whitnell. Well, they should be learning something, the Dockers. Whitnell pulls it back. Back goes Kickett into unexplored territory. Took the mark. Plays on to Bandy. Bandy kicks it up towards the wing. McManus comes hard. Couldn't control it. Picked up by Franchina. Franchina kicks it. It ricochets off Camporelli. Ratton tries to sell the dummy. Dragged down by Kickett. It affected the kick, and it slews off to the left-hand side. And a minor score.
We've got to feel sorry for some of the Dockers players because they're just really trying to out-battle, 2 and 3 on 1 situations most of the time. And just the pressure from Carlton is just so intense. Saw the work by Stephen Silvani on young Pavlich there a minute ago, and as you said, Dennis, they certainly can learn some lessons. And the thing that Pavlich didn't do is he didn't have much of a second effort. Just sort of dawdled after the ball. And just the intensity there is just not the same as what it is coming from a quality side like Carlton.
Parker got it to Brown. Having to stretch with Sinclair. Falling to ground. The hand pass came from Pavola across to Houghton. Houghton kicks inside the 50. Coming hard was Dodd. Bootsma sold Hazelby to all sorts of trouble. Black outnumbered. Socked away by McKay. Standing in front of that pack was McManus. Look at McKay run on and get him. But not before the hand pass came away to Bootsma. Bootsma peels off half-back. Kicks to half-forward. Taken by Pavlich. Nothing much up ahead. Kicks long down towards Clive. Brilliant judgment, Waterhouse. Not to be put off. Took the mark. Goes into an open goal. That was classy. He's got 4.
They're actually lucky to have the ball down there a minute ago, because Brad Bootsman actually did sell one of his players into the dummy, and that can be a little bit their problem so far with the Dockers boys. They do try to share the ball around quite a bit amongst their players, but often what they're doing is they're putting the player they're giving him ball in a worse situation. But good work also by Pavlich. He was able to turn around and get on with the play once he had his player up and underneath him. Same as what Clive did then.
It's always hard in that situation when the guy takes off, as the defender did. You feel something's happening here, I better jump too. But Clive stayed down, took the mark despite the man flying in front. That was Mansfield. That's probably the most interesting duel on the ground. Number 6 knows that, so he's down there as well enjoying all of this. He paid his money. Well, he probably didn't pay his money, but he wants a bit of a show. Koutafidis has come up the ground now, smothered off the boot brilliantly by Sinclair. Spills across to Coops. Coops inside the centre square, unloads again. Where's the main event? They won't get there this time. Silvani knocks it down. Pavlich goes in, spills out of the pack. Silvani soccers off the ground. Hickmott was blindsided, taken down by Coops. Socket off the ground by Silvani. Koutafidis has got it. Gets it away to Beaumont. shrugs the tackle, does Beaumont. Forward of half-back, kicks it up towards the wing. Good desperation by Ship, got a fist in there. Kick it, tries to come out backwards. Chopped off by Camporelli. Got it to Hume, comes to Fletcher. Fletcher quick hands away to Ratton. Ratton tries to go around the corner. There was a touch ball. Jones falls over, taken by Whitnell, back to Fletcher. Look at Hume run, he won't be required. The kick from Fletcher wide of the marker behind. Gee, they've got an appetite though. Did you see Hume take off?
Well, just some of the upper body strength by the Carlton players today. I've seen it 2 or 3 times where when they get challenged by a Fremantle player, they just stick the one hand out and basically just push off. And you've got to try and knock that hand out of the way and go for the body, because they're just getting through the Fremantle defence too easily.
Parker kicks in, looking for Brown. Brown takes the mark. He's at right half back. Little short one intended for Black. The colours sticking together. Hotton's got it. Gets a hand pass across to Fletcher. Fletcher from 40 turns around. Has a shot. And kicks a goal.
Well, that's just a classic case of not being able to pinpoint your man and a turnover and getting paid for. There was no simple other way to make that up. There was just there's no way he should have missed that pass, and it was just way too easy for Carlton. They've just been absolutely dominated in this quarter.
Well, Lee Brown's going to be a terrific player, but just at the moment he's like a golfer with the yips. Only he's got the kudafides, and he's not standing in. That's the aftermath of what he's been put through. The emotional ringer at Subiaco Oval this afternoon. Speak of the devil. Gets it away to Nelson. Nelson from inside the centre square. Offhands Jones. Clears the zone. Walker gathers the bouncing ball at right half back. Chips it out wide. McManus stretches out. Was watching the shadows and took it across the line.
Again, that dominance of Matty Allen in the centre. He's really had the better of Michael today.
I think McManus was watching the shadow of the man chasing him there, and suddenly the grandstand shadow got him. The blip went off the radar. Hotton's in there, confronted by Bandy, close to the boundary line. Kudafides taken down by Michael. Camporelli low down. Hotton hasn't got the footy, surely. Knocked forward by Hamill, and it trickles across the boundary line, so it'll be tossed in.
Dan, what's interesting about McManus is that David Parkin's chosen to tag him with Franchina and let Hazelby run. There's no Fletcher, so McManus has been the man, and he has been frustrated by the young tagger.
He's good, Franchina. Sticks at it. Bradley tries to soccer off the ground, kick it in all sorts of trouble. Hamill keeps his balance, going through the packs does Hamill. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnell brilliantly done. Hickmock hit it hard and finishes brilliantly.
Their quick hands today has been absolutely fantastic, whether it be inside from boundary throw-ins and just in close tight, or whether it's just been a player who leads up and takes a possession, then have the run from their players behind. We'll take another look here, and just the quick hands have been very, very good. They lead in handballs, and they also lead in handballs received, so they're very good at hitting their targets, are the Carlton players.
I reckon the breakfast buffet might have been the toughest thing for Carlton today. They are really pumped up. Imagine if you got somebody else's toast. These guys, although their teammates would have taken it off you, there could have been stand-up rules, I think, at the hotel this morning. They have come to play. Hey, a chance for the Dockers here. Michael's got the free. Clem Michael kicks it inside the 50. Plenty of Carlton defenders back again. It's knocked down by Christou. Coming through down there was Hickmott. Hayes will be taken to ground. Interesting hand pass came across from Manton there, but eventually they get it out. Hotton takes the mark, forward of half-back, feeds it back. Ratton a little chip, nicely done. Beaumont comes away. Beaumont towards half-forward and Whitnell. Jones does well to get it on the ground, but Whitnell generally has been the master. Jones did well. He handcuffed the left hand. Whitnell couldn't do a thing about it.
It's almost the perfect tackle, that one. As a player, you just can't do anything about that situation.
James Walker out towards right half-back. Fremantle's percentage not good, and this is going to help it none too much. As Walker kicks it down towards half forward, in from the side, looking for a mark was Fuster. At the back, Ratton, what a term he's had, slips it away. Beaumont in trouble. Over the ball is Hazelby, and the whistle.
They're just everywhere at the moment, aren't they? Every time the ball hits the deck, there's just 2 or 3 Carlton players all around the place.
Well, there's Hazelby. Short, dark and lonesome at the moment. He's been trying his heart out, but not much help. Houghton, Hazelby again. Kicks inside the 50. And Clive wins his own little duel against Mansfield. It's become personal down there, but they've been left out of it for lengthy periods. And Hazelby, I think, may have cramped up after that last kick, and he's got reason to.
I think that'd be the only 2 winners for Fremantle at the moment. Clive Waterhouse and Paul Hazelby. This is a big blow for Fremantle if Hazelby's coming off. He's really been a bit of a lone hand inside the centre square. He's had a little bit of help from Troy Cook, but we haven't sort of seen enough of him. Luke Toyer's gone out of the match. There's Clive shooting on for goal number 5, is it, Dennis?
Yes, meanwhile, back at the Waterhouse, he's got 5. Well, that robs the game of a bit of interest for us. Hazelby off. We're enjoying him. What a player he's going to be. And the West blessed with a couple of great ones, really, youngsters, on-ball players and Cousins and Hazelby. So Clive Waterhouse, 5 goals, the all-time goal-kicking leader at the Dockers. Over 100, much maligned, but we've seen again today, a quality forward on his day. And like so many, doesn't do it week in, week out, but that's hard to do. Toyer's getting a 3. Hazelby's off the ground. Luke Toyer, good first half, kicks inside the 50. Clive comes out, he's inspired, finds the ball on the ground, goes with the outside of the boot down towards full forward, hacked out of mid-air by a Docker. Well, almost, taken by Mansfield. Mansfield kicks across the goal face. Koutafidis missed it. Waiting behind, here's a chance for Nelson. Tries to soccer it off the ground. Storming up the ground is Freeborn. And it goes out of bounds and will be thrown in.
Paul Hayes will be getting a big ice pack on his leg then. I'll check with him at 3/4 time, see how he is.
Yeah, tell him we'd like him back if at all possible, Barra.
I certainly will.
Might have been in the points. 3/4 time at Subi. Powerhouse performance by Carlton. They will be around the mark come finals time. Their best is very good. Carlton 18-18, Fremantle 10-4. So in that term they booted 8 goals. 8-6. That says something about their total dominance. And the Dockers, well, as we said during the term, we can only hope they learn from this. John Worsfold would have liked what he saw in that quarter. They chased hard, they tackled hard, and generally they finished their work. They lead at 3/4 time, 126 to 64.
G'day, Ryan. G'day, Rod. Looks like rain.
First time in Australia, the new 3-litre turbo diesel Patrol. Now with over 20% more power.
Don't know the reason why you love me this way.
Don't know the reason why you're there every day.
But I know when I hold you near, you are the reason I am here.
This is home to one of my greatest memories.
Share with Tony Shaw the memories of Collingwood's first premiership in 32 years with your very own framed replica 1990 premiership jumper, personally signed by the inspirational skipper himself. Beautifully presented and framed, numbers are limited to 250 at the low price of $750. Order now. Call 1-800-687-842. That's 1-800-687-842 for this official AFL merchandise.
So now you can have this memory at home with you.
If you're really into cricket, you don't just play it, you live it. Which bank understands? The Commonwealth Bank. With the Cricket Academy, we're helping young cricketers make it happen.
This May, there's only one channel that brings you the best of Hollywood.
Let's do this.
It's not happiness to see me, is it?
With an epic lineup of top movie titles. Movie 1 can only be described as so if you want the best movies with the best stars, there's only one place to be this May. Movie 1.
Longmuir and Allen go at it. Allen taps it down. Ratton so often at the base of the pack, and again there he kicks it down towards half forward. Coming back with dashes, Bootsma heads for the boundary line and bounces it out.
It was a classic case of the first bounce there when you said Ratton first used the board. You know, Luke Toy was standing in behind him, and it's been happening all day, and you've really got to learn just to actually stand in front, because the ball's only really just been dropping right at the feet.
Never much fun, these sort of quarters, are they, Chris? You just got to guts it out. Not much fun for either side, really. I suppose you enjoy getting a few possessions if you're Carlton, but you know it's one. Dodd taken down.
Just, you know, the difference in Fremantle this week to last week. They only had 16 turnovers last week already. So far today, they've had 26. So that's probably just a little bit of pressure from the Carlton defence, or Carlton players all over the ground. And Anthony Koutafidis, a sensational third quarter last week, backed it up this week with 11.
Pavol has gone back into defence, and Nelson is coming up onto the forward line. Interestingly, what is happening off the ball. Here's Bradley. Camporelli, right half forward, spears the pass in, but the mark is taken by Bandy, as if he was the man who was offering the lead. Daniel Bandy in the back pocket then, lengthening shadows across Subiaco Oval as Bandy sends play back towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Hamill. Aaron Hamill. Little chip in short, finds Craig Bradley. How many possessions for Bradley today? Just having a look, 18. Season's high 39. Round 6 against Port Adelaide. Best effort last year, 33 against the Saints in round 21. Kick inside the 50. Brown did nicely. McManus, kick it. High kick towards the wing. Cook is going back with this one. Bowled over by Christou, trying to pick it up as Freeborn. He's booted 3 goals. Freeborn upended as he kicks. Taken by Fletcher. He plays on. Fletcher kicks inside the 50. Koutafidis the big leap. Ratton the quick hands. Whitnell grabs it. Snaps towards full forward. How will it bounce? Well wide of the mark. Goes towards the boundary. Allen wheels around. Gets the hand pass to Ratton, but the goal umpire dropped Allen in.
It's almost like some training routines at the moment for Carlton. They just sort of kick it long. They have runners there at the base of the packs, and it's just all happening way too easily. Just no resistance at all from Freo at the moment.
Allen tries to backhand it down. Ratton, Koutafidis, Allen, Koutafidis, slung, storming through Camporelli. How's that for a touch of class? Scott Camporelli.
And Scotty Camporelli averaging 31 possessions a game, and you know, if you're going to be playing on a guy like that who you know runs forward, again, it's just a really, like all the players should be, you've just got to be right on top of him. And Brad Dodd's been playing on Camporelli today, and well, Dodd's done fairly well for himself. You'll see here just the quick movement of the Carlton players. They're very good at the small balls in underneath, and of course Scott Camporelli was on his feet and moving, and that's always very hard to stop.
Good Dockers crowd today, 28,191. I guess that's good news and bad news because they get the people along on what's a terrific day and they play poorly. A side that just has some problems, but they're going to be very good. McManus gets it away to kick it. Back to McManus. McManus's hand pass when he needed to kick sold Walker into trouble. Kickett made it look okay though. Ran back onto it. Kicks inside the 50. Longmuir perhaps could have got a free there. McKay came back hard. Perhaps he didn't contact with him. Christou kicks it towards the outer side wing. McManus has got it. There's a whistle. And the free kick is going to Dale Kickett, who grew up barracking for Carlton. Camporelli knocks it down. Favola in trouble. Ratton. Camporelli on the outer side with the run of it close to the boundary line. Chips it up towards the wing. Awkward half volley for Hamill. Camporelli's run on again. Sockers it once and twice down towards the 50. He linked up initially in the back pocket, so a terrific run around the outer side by Scott Camporelli, the man who kicked the last goal.
Carlton nearly lost him this year. He was thinking about returning to Adelaide, so they'll be pretty happy that he stayed around.
A joint record holder with Stephen Kernahan for goals against Fremantle. Booted 7, round 18, 1996 at Optus. Here's Ratton. Clever hand pass across to Fletcher. Fletcher trying to get the kick off. We've got a whistle. Now what's happened there? Was it out of bounds? It was. The boundary umpire demanding that he get the ball.
So you just get the feeling it's just been hard for Fremantle to come up a third week in a row, Dennis. You know, it's probably taken its toll, the work that they've done with their last 2 victories.
And the routine has been broken up considerably because they did play initially on a Tuesday. That was Anzac Day. Then a Monday night in Melbourne. Toya taken high. And it does play havoc a little when you're in a routine and suddenly it's tossed around to that extent. And that's the best face we can put on this loss. As Bootsman's got it on the outer side, kicking down towards half forward. Fuster couldn't complete the mark. Pushed towards the boundary line was Longmuir. And we'll have a boundary throw in. That's Justin.
Paul Hazelby's about to come back on, Den, as well, so no problems with him. Stephen Silvani just having a bit of a jog around the boundary, and Brad Dodd heavily tagging Camporelli, so it's been a big effort by Campo.
Thanks, Barrett. Good to see Hazelby back. What about Ratton? Gets the ball again. He's coming up for his 30th possession. And the ball goes across the boundary line, outer side.
And in the last few weeks, quite a few of their players have been up in the high 20s and low 30s, Dennis, so they certainly get a lot of the ball. They lead the league in kicks, or second in kicks, so they certainly know how to get it.
Ratton's gone over 33 previous times this season with a best of 37 round 5, and that included 20 hand passes. Ball is on the wing. Walker, Bootsma, not a good hand pass. Sometimes you've just got to kick it. Coops falling to the ground. Speak of the devil on the 50. He does. Long, good kick. Something to be said for it.
And in a situation where you are under a lot of pressure, and if you're sort of going to overuse the ball, you know it's going to come unstuck, and that's the best way is to go long. In this situation, that's what they've done. And eventually ended up with a goal, but it was a good effort because they just kept forcing the ball forward. There hasn't been a lot of that. There hasn't been a lot of backup from their players today, and they've failed to really hit a lot of their targets. That's been really the difference in their play.
1918 plays 11-4. Carlton inside the centre square now have Franchina, Freeborn and Ratton. Allen is the leaping man. Toya in there, McManus, Cook battling hard. They were 3 of the 4 in the middle with Longmuir. As the ball is taken by Walker across half back. Camporelli being held without it, surely. No free kick. Dragged down his Bootsma. Bootsma did well on his knees, came again, gets it to Toya, in trouble. Hickmott got him. Hazelby, like a magnet, back on the ground and kicks it up towards the wing. In there was Troy Longmuir. Battles after the footy. It spills out of the pack to be picked up by Dott, and he's away. Looping hand pass. How will it bounce? Awkwardly for both players. McManus ran onto it, sockers it down towards full forward. Manton was being held, but Clive comes through, and Clive gets half a dozen for the afternoon.
Well, just some bullocking work there by the Dockers players, and they've just been lacking that throughout the afternoon. We saw some more good work from Paul Hazelby, and he really has battled his heart out there today. Haven't seen a lot from Troy Cook, and again, they really just missed some of their targets, but they were lucky enough just to force the ball forward, and it was good play by Sean McManus. Sometimes it's a bit of a danger actually kicking a ball in motion, but he was lucky enough with that one.
So that gives Clive 23 goals for the season, closing in on Tony Modris' 27. Of course, Modris sidelined. Waterhouse has done his bit, simply hasn't been down there often enough. Allen knocks it down, hitting the pack hard as Luke Toya comes away with it, probably should have kicked. Coops got an untidy hand pass. Freeborn went in with courage, trying to work the ball forward was Christou. Grabbed on the outer side out there was the big man Allen. Didn't get a free kick, but coming through is Beaumont. Beaumont's high up and under, made it awkward for Bootsma, who showed a lot of courage. Try standing under that one. Bootsma plays on, swings it wide. Here's Luke Toya close to the boundary line. And Toya kicks towards half forward. Coming through is Nelson. Camporelli back to Nelson. Nelson runs up to the wing, kicks towards half forward and Koutafidis. This should be a goal. He can turn around, go goalward. It's shaped right to left, but not enough. Just missed it out to the right. He's booted 4.
Well, he just caught Daniel Bandy way out then with the turnover with the football. He just got on his bike and took off. Just the teamwork by the Carlton players, just fantastic. It's been like that all day. And they're going to be a real threat this year, because we've seen some very, very good signs from Carlton today here at Subiaco Oval. It's been very impressive. Their work rate and their teammanship is just first class.
Kick it kicks in. It's been a rampaging Koutafidis. Just sounds bad. McManus from half back kicks it out towards the wing. Longmuir, Justin in trouble. No, they won't buy that in the AFL, son.
They're just very indecisive, aren't they, about their decision making.
Very promising youngster, but Christou, there was no way that that slow move was going to distract him. He just went at the body. Christou kicks it downfield. Now we've got a whistle, and the ball will come back to Christou at left half back. Ange has been solid back there, gives them run. That's why they like him. They've been very patient. Hickmott, forward of half back, kicks it down towards half forward. Up was Koutafidis. Great balance when he came down. Runs on to assist. Beaumont slaps it out of there. The hand pass came from Hazelby. Tackled was Bandy. Picked up by Koutafidis. Koutafidis across the body finds Allen. Allen hard against the line. Kicks inside the 50. Bavola trying to come over the top. Hamill in trouble. Gets a hand pass goalward. Cook is in there, ran into a dead end. Whitnell, a strong young player, crashes the pack, sent backwards, coming through as Freeborn, tackled by Dodd, dragged off it, picked up by Bandy. Picking his pocket was Camporelli, goes with the outside of the boot and finds a man on the kickoff line for Bowler. Well, how about that?
I thought that was a free kick there to Dodd, because I thought that was holding the ball there a minute ago. I thought it was very harsh done by it.
Well, Camporelli, he went in there with arms flailing, trying to get that ball out somehow, some way, and he did. He scratched it out and then cleverly kicked the Favola. Maybe there was a Dockers free there, but it's going to end with a Carlton goal. 15 metres out, and he pops it through.
And again, just class really coming through, and it's almost like the Dockers players have really thrown in the towel. They just seemed a very tired bunch, but can't take away the pressure that the Carlton players. Let's just take a look at this tackle, and that was dropping the ball in my mind. But the turnover has turned around, and Scotty Camporelli's been in fine form the last few weeks, and he's continued on, and has most of his other teammates.
In the foreground, you can see young Hazelby starting outside the centre square. I think we want him in there, don't we, Chris?
He's getting a lot of the ball, so that's where he should be.
Oh, just purely selfish reasons. We're watching him. Hamill gets a hand pass to Bradley. Bradley dragged down. That's holding the ball.
What about that, Den? 18-year-old tackling a 36-year-old, twice his age.
Yeah, well, he got in there quick enough, eh? chips it across. Toya. Parker down towards right half forward. Goes out very wide to Fuster.
Haven't seen enough of him today.
No, to Dodd. Dodd 55 metres out. Sees Coops. Second attempt, very good. Couldn't reel it in though. McKay, clever hand pass. Bounced it across to Hickmott. Franchina didn't know it was intended for him. Hickmott on his knees has got plenty of company. Coming out of the pack was Fuster, but not with the footy. McKay goes in. Fuster dives on top of it. Whistle and a bounce. 1:39 plays 76. Still over 11 minutes to go.
I almost thought this was a mark to Stephen Coops, but he's just dropped it at the end.
Just jarred out as he hit the deck, wasn't it? A lot of jousting close to the boundary line, and another whistle. Uncle Mansfield had some good minutes early, but eventually when he went to Waterhouse, Waterhouse was the master.
The sting's really come out of this game in this last quarter, hasn't it?
Yep. Both just going through the motions now. As we said, it's a tough time for players, this. Beaumont clears the zone with a high kick around the outer side. In front, Freeborn, crashing in Dodd, taken by Cook, got it to kick it. He hasn't given up trying. Goes again. Great courage. It comes to Bandy. Bandy slips a hand pass away. Parker in the grass. Across to Dodd. Dodd right on the 50. Heads for home, but nobody at home. He's done it at both ends. Koutafidis.
Craig Bradley on his own out here.
He has to wait. It's a pretty high ball. Braddle's not known for his high marking. Didn't complete the mark. Wins it on the ground, though. Gets the hand pass away. Christou across half-back. Little chip. Finds Freeborn. Back to Christou. Hazelby. Ernest chased, but wasn't there in time. It affected the kick. Christou had to stretch. Falling to the ground, Longmuir. Got it to Brown. Rebound opportunity for the Dockers. It comes to Toya. Toya's got it forward of the wing. Luke Toya kicks towards centre half forward, and Clive. Son a problem. Awkward half volley a problem. McKay a problem. Hand passed it across, taken by Bandy. Clive fell over. He was setting it up for his place kick. He couldn't quite do it. The hand pass comes from McKay. Bradley slick, got it to Beaumont. In trouble. Tackle by Toya. Socket off the ground there by Bradley. Out towards the wing. Here comes Allen. It bounces away from him. He takes it close to the line. He takes it across.
It's almost the difference, even if Carlton aren't hitting their targets, they're making a few mistakes. They've got the numbers there to back up, and they always seem to get out of trouble, where on the turn of the coin, Fremantle seem to be selling their players into it, and just too much pressure from Carlton.
Boundary throw in. Down goes Coops. That was interesting a couple of moments ago. Clive tried to position the ball so he could swing that free leg at it while prostrate on the ground. Seen him do that before, but that time it didn't quite come off. Some of those defenders have no sense of humour. There's the bounce. Longmuir was up. Fuster's in there. Hazelby again tries to crash his way through. Comes back to Fuster, who coughed it up. Franchina gets a hand pass away. Bradley on his way on the wing, runs through the wing, kicks it down towards half forward. Whitnell is one out down there with Jones. A test of strength, and they're both strong men. Ratton Soccer's off the ground. He's getting a little right to left. It trickles across the line.
Almost sacrilege to have a player like Craig Bradley standing through the corridor all on his own, to be able to run through. Even had Scotty Camporale there to help him out too. And at this stage of the game, it's a test of both sides. One from Fremantle, see whether they can stick to the players and not just give up. And there's the kick in.
Bandy set a task. Coming through is Dodd to Longmuir. Longmuir wanting his left side. Bounces through half back. Kicks towards half forward, and Fuster. Brown is cruising past. It's got to be his. Fuster went back the wrong way. Now they've got a problem. Crashing in is Koutafidis. That ball is still alive. Toya dives on top of it.
Fuster had the opportunity to handball inboard there, Dennis, and he decided not to go with it, and eventually got caught.
You'd assume that Brown was saying something as he was cruising past. Allen into the path of Hamill, who's taken a tad high and will get the free kick. He tends to attract the whistle, does Aaron Hamill. Starting the day, he'd received 15 frees and conceded 15, so that's a lot of stoppages.
He's a really old-fashioned forward too, Dennis, because he's in the top 35 for tackles, so he's He works hard, does Aaron Hamill.
Yeah, real good player. Toya, they've had plenty of good players today. Walker gets it away to Black. Black comes across the ground. Plenty of Dockers out here, but the one may prevail. Bad luck for Houghton. He almost beat 3. It's picked up by Longmuir. Longmuir kicks it down towards half forward. Clive comes up. The Sun a problem there. Dropped the mark. McKay comes away with a footy. He was looking directly into the Sun, Waterhouse. Mark is taken by Hickmott. Hickmott kicks to half forward and Whitnell. Wanting it is Favola, but the kick not good. It slews off the side of the boot. Longmuir is up. It comes to Favola. Gets the hand pass intended for Allen. Slides through the pack. Arriving quickly was Ratton. Walker on his knees, got a hand pass. Longmuir in trouble. Brown slips it away to Dodd, who drops it. He soccers off the ground. Leading in the race is Favola. Tries to flick it back to accommodate Freeborn, but couldn't succeed. And a boundary throw in. 6.5 minutes to go till full time. No doubt about this one. It's money in the bank for Carlton. Generally this season they've won big. They haven't been involved in too many close ones. Longmuir, Ratton, Freeborn under pressure, kicks inside the 50. It's a high ball from behind. Allen punched it away. This is Toya. Arches the back but didn't get away. Parker took the hand pass. Heard the voice from Toya backing up. Bradley took him high. Toya wanted a whistle.
He stopped. He was hoping the umpire was going to call that one, otherwise he was in some trouble, didn't he?
That's right. It would have been a sinking feeling for Luke Toya. He comes back to Walker. Almost doubt about it, though, and Walker strides away. Kicks towards half forward. Waterhouse is steaming up the ground. Brilliant gather on the half volley. Gives it across to Ship. Ship comes to Coops. No conviction in that play. Hayes will be in trouble. Kept his head, though. Got it back to support. Taken by Ship. Ship kicks inside the 50. Fuster will need to go. In fact, it's not Fuster, it's Longmuir. Didn't matter, he was outnumbered. Hickmott gives the hand pass away. Hamill kicks it up towards the wing. Freeborn's got the run of it, knocks it onto his own advantage, but it wouldn't stay in. Bad luck for Freeborn. And a boundary throw in down in front of our commentary position. Thrown in. Hamill thumps it down, taken by Black. Hard to mark these sort of balls, but Beaumont makes it look easy.
Yeah, he's got person through the corridor here all on his own, Dennis.
Christou gets it away nicely. This is Fletcher up from half back. Little chip pass. Camporelli stretches, coming up for possession number 29. Scott Camporelli started slowly, but has really worked into this one. As hard a running player as there is in the AFL. He kicks inside the 50. We saw that earlier in the third term, or was it this term? And he socketed around the outer side, starting a passage of play from the back pocket. Bandy kicks it up towards the wing, and there's going to be a free kick up there for Ship for a push in the back. Oh, no, there's not. Ship wanting a free kick, not getting it. He was going back, suggesting to the umpire it was a definite. Wasn't even a maybe. Longmuir chips it out wide. Ship goes after it. Still Ship. Off the ball, Fuster went down. The hand pass comes across to Coops. Coops kicks inside the 50. Waterhouse misses this one. No excuse for that. Manton.
Good play by the Carlton defence.
Hamill breaking for him. Freeborn. It comes in that direction, and Freeborn takes the mark. .64 points the margin. It was 62 at three-quarter time, and as we suggested, the game had nowhere to go, and it has got there. Kudafides on the wing.
Competing with Luke Toya there, Dan. Bit of a mismatch.
Yep. He's had that a couple of times when he's gone on the ball, hasn't he? Oh, that's a pretty lazy kick. Gets it to Ratton. Yet another possession for Ratton. 33 make that as he pulls it back. Fuster split the pack and hurt Black. There's going to be a free kick to Beaumont. Well, Brendan Fuster committing hard to that, and there's the man who paid the price. Heath Black getting a knee right in the back. Beaumont a bit sore and sorry as well as Christou gets the hand pass out towards Fletcher. Fletcher runs to the 50, pulls it back towards the kickoff line. All the Carlton players stayed on their feet. Well, that tells the story of the day. 3 Dockers went to ground, and Carlton stayed up, but didn't get full advantage as Heath Black, feeling the effects of that one, comes off the ground.
And I think Fremantle will be pretty happy to see See that we'll hear the siren when it comes because they've just been completely outclassed today. And every time they go forward, they've just got a mountain of Carlton players who are returning the ball. Beaumont, he's been very good. As have most of his teammates. There's hardly been any passengers in the Carlton side today, is there, Dennis?
No, you're right, Chris.
And Maney, there's nothing worse than getting injured when you're getting belted in a game like this and having to come off and put an ice pack on. Is
very true, Adrian.
Bradley, Kudafides.
Look at the run through the middle.
Manton kicking down towards half forward. Kick it slipped over. That aided his team, as it turns out, although it hurt him. He fell into the feet of Whitnell, and the mark was taken behind, uncontested by Jones. Bandy right in the middle of Subiaco Oval, goes looking for Waterhouse, who was tackled, I thought, by McKay. No free kick. Fletcher's got a problem. Bradley anxious to help him out. Hand passes back about 15 metres, and the ball's gone out of bounds.
He's given a free kick?
Well, that is a very grey area in the rules too. We know what Bradley was trying to do. I don't think there's any doubt he was trying to
go for the points.
Yeah, so when it's deliberate, not deliberate when it's deliberate. So Ship's got the free kick. It was anything but deliberate, I mean, as it turns out. He goes short to Sinclair.
It's the second time young Ship's been able to get a ball inside.
What do you say? The law is an ass in that situation, because Bradley was trying to force a point, but because it went the wrong side of the behind post, it was deemed deliberate. Anyway,
there's quite a few of those rules that are going around at the moment, isn't there?
Yes.
Seem to be 50-50, or I'm not quite sure. Young Jess Sinclair. He's missed, has he?
Nope. Wasn't much of a buffer on it, though.
Well, a pretty sad day, really, for Fremantle. After being up for 2 weeks, they've just found it very, very hard. We'll have another look at the incident with Craig Bradley, and he was definitely looking for the points there. There's no two worries about that. But it hasn't really mattered. It's not really going to hurt Carlton whatsoever, because they've just been dominant all over the ground. And Fremantle will go back to the drawing board this week and start all over again.
It's that sort of afternoon, I suppose, Chris. The interesting one would be if Bradley hand-passed and hit the behind post. Now, that's a call, isn't it? That is a call by the umpires. Longmuir gets it down to Coops. Picked up by Camporelli, slips it away to Ratton. Ratton kicks to half-forward and Whitnell. Whitnell's been very good at centre-half-forward. Hand passes back over the shoulder for Vola. Had it knocked away by Parker. Jones comes again. He's kept on fighting as Jonesy. Knows no other way. Gets the hand pass to kick it. Comes to the middle. Taken by Toya. Goes out wide looking for McManus. Finds him. McManus on the outer side. Clock down to 1:35 remaining in this one. 59 points the difference. Fuster runs on. Manton is with him. Longmuir picks it up. Goes looking for Fuster. Needs a hurried kick. He kicks it very high, but out of bounds on the full. Not much margin for error there. He was under pressure right on the line. Fletcher out of the back pocket, taking the resultant free, kicking it up towards the wing. Big pack at that one. What a good spot to be. Hamill was camped in front, comes back, missed by Manton, in trouble. Hand passes towards the line. Bradley picks it up. Gives it away. Dodd takes the mark, comes back to the middle, and Bandy. Now Bandy can run to 50. Nobody at home. How will it bounce? He kicks it down towards full forward. It bounces badly for Fremantle and goes away from Ship and out of bounds in the pocket.
Dan, Heath Black had to leave the ground. He's gone off the ground into the rooms, hurt his back, but not too serious, they're saying.
Thanks, Barra. So boundary throw in. And a red letter day for the Blues. Hazelby again. Dragged off it. McKay. Hand passes up towards centre half back. Coops, well, he should have let Longmuir come through. Kudafides gets a hand pass to Hamill. Hamill swings it out wide. Freeborn marks in front of Bootsman. 20-21 to 13-4. That could well be the final score. Freeborn to half forward. Allen. Strong hands. Now 50 against Toya coming in. And obviously the umpire hadn't called play on. So what do you make of Carlton, Chris, through all of this?
Well, just the thing about it, Dennis, that they've just they seem to have all the runners, and they've been very impressive. You know, especially underneath the packs, they've got players always to release the ball from them. They deliver the ball well to their players. They hit their targets. and it's just been very hard for Fremantle to try and break their defence. It's been very good from all over the ground, and I was just looking at young Brown there from Fremantle and just wondering, you know, it's been a pretty tough day for him, but out of all of it, because of the experiences that he's had this year, he's certainly going to be a very, very good player, because he just keeps coming up against quality week in and week out. You can't really say that he has a bad day.
Allen kicks a goal from 35 out.
But when a side's just getting their hands on the ball as much as Carlton is, their setup seemed to be well. They seem to have rattled a lot of the Fremantle players with their changes. They make a lot of changes through the midfield area, and I think a lot of the times when players are coming back to set up, the Fremantle players are running around trying to work out who they're playing on, and that makes it pretty difficult for the Fremantle boys to concentrate properly.
So the dying seconds of this one. Carlton getting that last goal, 21-21 to 13-4. 42 scoring shots to 17. Longmuir tries to drag it down. Coops is dragged down. Bickmont, who's been effective since coming on, got it to Bradley. Crashing in there is kick up. There's the final siren. It was going to be a Carlton free, but it's all over. And Carlton resounding victors. 21-21 to 13-4. They led at every change. That's it from Subi. Thanks for your company.